Hello, everyone. Good evening. Sorry, I need to get a haircut. I've only got one there at the end of December before Christmas, and I already need another haircut. Like, my hair goes very quickly. But anyway, apart from that, how we all doing? Hope everybody's doing well this Wednesday. We're near the end of January, would you believe? Already. Imagine. It's insane to take. Saturday is Isn't it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday is the 1st, yeah. And it's a bike holiday Monday. Oh. The 2nd. It's insane to take. It really, really is when you really sit down and think about it. It's insane to think we're already in February, going on to St. Bridget's Day and stuff like that. It's crazy to think the New Year is already gone by, New Year's Day, and we're already at pretty much 30 days into 2025. It's insane, really, when you sit down and really think about it. Because to be totally honest, it only feels like it's about the 10th, the 11th. It doesn't feel like the 29th. It's really, when you sit down and think about it, it's really insane. You have to wonder where all that time went, because it just seemed to fly by, to be totally honest. Like, it should be only 15 to the most. That's what it feels like for me, because it just absolutely flew. Just looking at the time and the date now, really, because in the morning time, stuff, you don't look at the calendar and stuff like that. Only when you sit down in the evening and look at it, you're like, God, is it that day already? And sure, look at. But I know we're a bit early too. I know we were supposed to start at 7. I just basically was done what I needed to do, and I said to go live a few minutes earlier. So I suppose it doesn't really make much of a difference. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, mainly about the storm, and a lot more other stuff, of course, too, because a lot of stuff has happened over the last few days since Saturday, since we were last live. So we know who the new junior ministers actually. I don't have that actually ready. So 1 second. So we know who the new junior ministers are. We'll go through that, I suppose, first. There's a lot of other stuff in the background to go through. Give me 1 second. I actually forgot to get that ready. I should have got it ready. I don't have it ready there. There we go. It's a long list. Excuse me. Apologies, but excuse me. So yeah, I don't know if that music might be a bit too loud. So yeah. I hope everybody is well anyway. I hope everybody has power. I hope so. A good lot of people on campus do. Majority of people have power. But the problem is the water at the moment. That's the biggest issue. In a lot of areas of Cavan. Like we was surprisingly, I didn't know this Saturday. Because see, at that time Saturday, they were just assessing all the damage and stuff like that. We didn't know until Monday morning the full scale of the damage around Cavan. But it was pretty bad. One of the probably worst nearly than Kerry and stuff like that, like on the coast. It's insane, really, to think about. We were nearly one of the worst counties affected in the country. So it's insane to think about. There's a lot to talk about. There's a long list of stuff that needs to be done, and it's like Cavan was one of the worst. Would you believe? And in inside county, not a coastal county, Sligo was better than us and stuff like that. But it doesn't make much sense how Cavan got it the worst nearly in the country. But you're looking. Hello, Val. Hello, Brian. How are you doing? Hello, Little England. How are we all doing? I hope everybody's well. Hello, Fiona. How are we doing? But yeah, so there's a lot to say about it. We're not going to all the details because there's that much. It's insane. Like, I think when the council opened Monday morning, the local authority here in Cavan, I think there was nearly 500 calls, within the first hour of them open. So that just tells you all you need to know. There's a lot of damage around Cavan. It's quite insane. I can't go through it all because the list is endless. Like, just looking at the amount of call-outs and stuff like that, it's absolutely ludicrous. Hello, Tony. We are early. We are but a few minutes early, but you're looking at a few minutes early is better than late. Hello, Late. How are you doing? Yeah, our power was back. There was a power cut there. What was it? Monday evening here. But that was a surge. See, the problem that what happened here on Monday evening was a surge, and there was too many people using the power, the electricity, and the electricity grid pretty much fried itself for about an hour here in Cavan. So the whole electricity grid just fell off. So that's what happened Monday evening here, because there was that many people losing electricity. It just all fried itself. But we lost power Friday night, and we got it. Was it Saturday? Saturday? No, it was Saturday morning. Yeah, that's when we got it back. Here, this part of Cavan. So the west of Cavan is pretty atrocious in some parts of it. Mulla and County Cavan is pretty bad up that direction. Gutil is pretty bad up that way. As you said, Bertoba Bayern too. It's some parts of Bertoba and Bomboy up that it's pretty bad. Bomboy and Cavan, I think, there's not going to be any power down to the February the 10th. I think they're saying at the moment. I'm not too sure. Not too sure of the timing. Then up in Kingscote, the whole power system's just fucked altogether. Like even the power poles and stuff fell and stuff. Oh, the big storm came, and so if you're not up to date with the long story, just big huge storm came and pretty much knocked the whole country down, pretty much. Like in the best possible way, that's where all of society broke down. Like there's some places just out the road here, beside the hotel in the Farnham, the Radisson, they would call it, out there at Farnham, out of the the Farnham estate out there, out by the hospital. Brian probably know what I'm talking about. Out there, it's pretty bad out there. Nobody can get phone reception. That's just past the hospital. Nobody can get phone reception. All the power lines are down. Everything's fucked. The poles are broken half. It's pretty bad. Yeah, like no, but some parts outside Bertoba going into the Bombay area, that or towards that direction, is pretty bad out that way. But yeah, there was a lot of damage. There was damage done to the apartments there in Bertoba too. The Riverside apartments, isn't that what they call it? But yeah, no, there's a problem with the water. There's still problems with the system, the water system there, I think. I'm not too sure because, again, the list is endless. Like, I'm looking at the list as it comes in. It's just, the list is huge. As I say, in the first hour, the Celts were back at 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock Monday morning. There was nearly 500 calls or something like that into Cavan County Council, something like that. That's insane, like within the first hour. Like the list is endless, pretty much. And as I say, out there in Farnham, you know what I'm talking about, just by the hospital and by the Farnham estate there. There's some people don't have phone reception, they don't have anything, you know. And we're still going on, and they're talking about it could be the 5th of February by the time they're back. And that's only down the road. Not even 10 minutes from here, pretty much. 10 minutes, yeah. Yeah, but Cavan was one of the most affected. Like, going by all the damage, because again, there's all being assessed and stuff. Like Cavan was nearly worse affected than anywhere else, so I don't get it. Especially because the whole water system. The problem happened here. The whole water system failed. Everything failed in Cavan. The whole phone system failed. Everything failed. Like every part of Cavan society pretty much failed. The whole infrastructure in Cavan pretty much failed that night. Like it all failed. That's what I'm trying to say. Compared to other counties. Other counties, some of it didn't fail, but the whole water system kind of did fail. You know, and that's because the lack of investment showed itself, and not that even too there was damage done to a lot of the water infrastructure, and then not to mention a lot of them lost power, the water systems and stuff like that. It goes on and on and on. Like it's still going on. The water system it's very badly affected in Cavan. Yeah, like there's still people out there in Cavan that don't have anything, but there's community hubs for people to charge their phones and get a shower, etc., etc. Thankfully, there's 30 community hubs in Cavan. That just goes to show you, I think Cavan has the most in the whole country because it's that bad in some parts of Cavan. Like it is pretty bad in some parts of this, really, really bad. Yeah, in Dublin, well, they kept Dublin going because see, as one person said the other night in the telly. I heard about it was said with somebody up in Mulla. They wouldn't go. It wouldn't be tolerated in Dublin. If this happened in Dublin, they'd be held to pay. Because as many people have said, where is the army? Where's the Irish Defence Forces? Because there's no sign of the army. Like at this stage, it should be the army that be out to do stuff. Like it should be past civilian authority now, going to the military. To be totally honest, because the military should be deployed. Whatever's left of them, may I say, only 7,000 of them. But there's no sign of the army. So where's the army? Because there's still roads in County Cavan, back roads. They have loads of trees down and stuff like that because we don't have the manpower to send out to cut the trees back, you know, to get them off the roads and stuff. And the rural roads, back country roads. So there's a lot of damage. So, you know, you really need the military out to do it. But there's no sign of the army. We haven't seen one soldier about. So I don't know where all the defence forces are. To be told, because they should probably be deployed to assist. But they're not as the recommended amount of soldiers that's needed in the defence force about 15,000. We're only about 7,000, nearly going on to 6,000. So there's not enough. Hello, Fortretti, how are we doing? Going so for light. Yeah, well, no, it's pretty bad. In some areas it's very, very bad in Cavan. But thankfully the community hubs is helping out a lot because some of the stories are not not the greatest. Now old men and stuff having to sit in houses in the cold and stuff like that. But stuff, yeah, like it's pretty bad. Like it is pretty bad. But yeah, but obviously the put it nicely. Just saying in Cavan alone and stuff in other places. The state wasn't prepared. There was no ever. I don't think there was any ever preparations for this kind of carry on to happen. So there was nothing prepared, pretty much. What I'm saying. Hello, Sean. How are we doing? But there was nothing. There was no preparation. We knew this was coming. There wasn't much in the way of preparation done. To be told, Nancy. It wasn't too Friday evening when people realised that. But hello, David, how are you doing? But what to say, Cavan was one of the worst in the country affected. It really, really was. Crazy fun. I'm assuming some live stream and stuff. See, it's been that busy, hectic and stuff like that. The last few days. I hadn't got much time to watch YouTube and stuff like that. Even though I had power, I didn't have power Monday even for a while. But it's been busy the last few days, cleaning up storm damage and stuff. That's what I've been really doing the last few days. Nothing like cutting down trees, but just sweeping up branches and stuff like that. That's what we've been doing. Trying to get footpaths cleared and stuff like that. That's basically what we've been up to the last few days. It's pretty much been hectic trying to do that. So that's what's been happening the last few days here. But it's a lot of damage and it's a lot of trekking about the last few days, pretty much, with the amount of calls and stuff that are coming in. It's insane. But again, as I say, the army should probably be out. There's no defence force. Where are the army? And again, many people in Cavan are asking this, where was the army? Nowhere to be found, so I don't know. So I don't know. Did anybody see the defence forces having? I know the Air Corps been out and about, but a lot of people in Cavan are not very happy with the army wouldn't set out to do stuff, which probably they should have been. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. That's why you have the defence forces, because nobody can really say it wasn't the time of an emergency. Give me 2 moments. I'm tricking about here for a second. Sorry about that. Apologies. I'm sorting. Yeah, that seems to be where they were, to be told, answer, because no sign of them here. Because they probably should have read like the damage that was done and stuff like that to roads and stuff like that. Like it should have been military authority more than not saying martial law. We should declare martial law, but in terms of the scale of the damage and stuff like that, I think it was far past civilian authority. If it makes sense. The military authority should have been brought in to deal with it. In terms of trees down and stuff like that, because it was hectic around here in Cavan for the last few days. In terms of that, like, there's still some country roads that don't have trees. People can't get out because the trees are blocking roads, and people have to go across the ditch and stuff like that. It's insane. So, but again, you have to remember, Sean, there's not enough soldiers as there used to be. But I'm just saying that now the soldiers that we did have, whatever we had, we should have sent out. Because again, we have to go begging to Europe for help. But I hope everybody has power. Everybody here has power, hopefully, and you have signal on your phone and stuff. Like, there's some people still don't have signal, as I say, out there by just out there by Cavan General Hospital, there's no signal on your phones. Which is even worse because, again, there was a story in Cavan that somebody rang the fire brigade because they dropped the candle on the table and they had no power. Thankfully, the fire went out. But they rang the fire brigade in a panic that time, but they couldn't get signal. So the call only went through. Basically, only came up in the fire brigade system, like on the emergency system 999, the other day, Tuesday. And they rang the fire brigade Saturday night. So that was great. So, they couldn't get through to the fire brigade. And lucky they got the fire out, first of all. And that's many the situations like that across the county that people rang the fire brigade and they couldn't get through, and they couldn't get through to 999 if there was an emergency. You know, and that's what happened. And God forbid that. Thankfully, they got the fire out. But as I say, if the house went up on fire, there would have been nothing anybody could have done because there was no signal to inform the fire brigade that our house was going up on fire. But yeah, I know it's not something to be laughing about, but that's what happened. That's what happened in the one part of Cavan. And it only registered up Tuesday morning, and they rang Saturday evening. So it would have been far too late for the fire brigade to get that notification. Yeah, but not even that. Yeah, it was emergency calls that was the problem. I know, but even just mobile data to find out what was happening. That happened to me Saturday night. I couldn't find out. Friday morning to Saturday. I couldn't find out what was happening in the road. As I say, people had to go around here, around this part of Cavan with fucking messages to tell us what's happening down the road. That was what's happening. Because nobody could get any signals. So people were just going around with messages informing what was happening and stuff like that. And there was nothing, it was insane. Like that was happening here Saturday morning. People going around with fucking messages telling us about different things. Oh, there's tea and stuff like that. Like it was insane. That was in Northern Ireland, yeah. But no, it was literally ludicrous at that stage, like what was happening. But thankfully, nothing around here. Nobody needed the emergency services. That was my main point. If somebody needed on God, like there was some bug, some people took advantage of it, as I say, to bogle houses and stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying? If you rang the Gaudi, if somebody was trying to break into your house, if you tried to ring for help, there was no help because the signal was gone. So that shouldn't. Whatever about the power and stuff. Like, obviously, the storm was bad. Nobody can say it was one of the worst storms ever to hit this county in this country. Like the wind was pretty bad. Like the wind was bad. Nobody can deny that. It wasn't bad as they say. It was bad. But the fact of the matter, the emergency system shouldn't have failed. In terms of phone signals and stuff. Because it was pretty true. I said there'd be more stories like what I just said there about your man, but his candle fell over. But thankfully, got the fire out. But again, it could have ended very badly for that man and for his house. But that shouldn't have happened. Anyway. That's the one thing I say. But the only problem is the whole lot of it. The argument, the whole lot of it. There was no preparation. There was all kind of laxy days. Like they knew this was coming, and they decided to do nothing. The same way with the local authority. They decided to wait and see what happened, pretty much. So it just goes to show you, if there's ever a state of emergency in this country, then everything's fucked. Because there's no preparations for anything. Because there was nothing, like, to put it straight, there was no plan in County Cavan to deal with anything. There was literally no plan. As far as I can get it was just kind of whatever. That's what I deem it as. Because there was no, like, we're going to do this, we're going to try and do that, we're going to do this. There was no plan like that. It was just kind of whatever happens. That was that in Cavan and Monaghan, the majority. So whatever about the rest of the country, maybe there was some kind of designated plan, but pretty much there was no plan in the majority of cases. The same with the central government. There was no plan in terms of dealing with anything. If that makes any sense. So yeah, that's that. But it's crazy now because there's still people. I seen somebody on Twitter there saying it'll be the 10th of February by the time they get the power on. Their offices Friday, and imagine that. And there's other people too, like as I say, but the people out in Farnham there, and that's the area it's called Farnham instead of there. But like even some places in Kerry, some are way better than in Cavan at the moment. Particularly up there at Mulla in County Cavan, it's pretty bad. Like imagine it's in County, inside Ireland. There's not on the coast, and it's nearly one of the worst affected places. It doesn't make much sense, but sure. Hello, Greenface. How are we doing? Good evening. Yeah, drinking his tea. Yeah, but that's all he can do. He ran away from her. That's what he does. But yeah, he ran away from her. So he doesn't give a shit. Simple as that. They don't care. They simply don't care. They don't really care at all. The only time they might have cared if something happened in Dublin, if the power went off in Dublin, they would start caring. But they don't give a shit about the country. Simple as that. They don't care. Simple as that. They just do not give a shit. Simple as that. Because if the way to give the shit too, even though they say the doll is no good, but they would have called the doll to discuss or try and get something sorted in some sense of form, or even just say in the military, they call up the military to deal with it. But sure, they didn't give a shit, and that's the simple as that. They just don't give a shit. In my humble opinion, they don't seem to give a shit. And you hold it, and this thing I'll show you later on, it hits the nail on the head. Let me see if we can find it now. There's a good meme I seen on Twitter, and I kind of need to know. I think this is it. So this is to do with an article Grip Media put out. The civil service and basically we're just standing around doing nothing, pretty much. But this just tells you all you need to know. This from this Twitter account. During COVID, protect Granny, keep her safe. Storm hour, forget Granny, let her freeze. Pretty much this is the Irish government's thing. During COVID, let's protect Granny. The old Irish people living in their houses on their own with, and you have to remember, Eamon Ryan didn't want you to have a fire or a stove or you burn your turf. He wanted you to have electric heating and stuff like that because, God forbid, you can't burn a bit of turf and stuff like that. Eamon Ryan's responsible for people freezing in their houses at the moment because he didn't want people. And the same with houses nowadays; they don't want you to put a chimney on it. But yeah, this is the line of the government. Pretty much, fuck the elderly people of Ireland. Let them fucking freeze for the environment and stuff like that. Pretty much. So yeah, this is accurate. This is just the government strategy. Fuck the Irish. Fuck Paddy. Let Paddy freeze and let Mary freeze. Fuck them. Who cares about them? That's more or less what Micheál Martin thinks of it. It's just plain up. That's what they think. Yeah, material, you go to jail for that, yeah. No, but that's just true. That's the way I see it. It does seem to be fuck Paddy. Who cares about Paddy? Because I don't hear anything. Because if it did happen, the direct proficient setters, I presume, the direct proficient setters presume had generators and stuff. Because there was no word on OT about it. The first thing would have been said about everything, regardless of any Irish person without electricity. If the direct proficient setters lost power, there would have been hell to pay. Let's be fair, there's been no word about direct provision setters losing power. So I presume they have generators and stuff like that. Because, we couldn't have people seeking asylum lose electricity now. We couldn't have that. But it's only the truth. I'm sure you would agree, Brian. There's no word. I remember during COVID, protect Granny and stuff. No word about protecting Granny now or looking after Granny now. In fairness, I heard it in prime time last night. I only seen it online. But they said a good thing. There was the Minister, Patrick O'Donovan. He was the former Minister of the Office of Public Works, another crowd of share ballastas. But the Minister, he's some other Propolia now, I can't think of exactly. But long story short, the ways that what I think will be, and was said too, that they should, people living on their own with no power, no electricity, nothing, they should be put into the local hotels the government expects of the taxpayer. The taxpayer pay for these elderly people who don't have power and stuff and have nowhere to go. So at least they've done a hotel to have power and stuff like that in some parts of Cavan. But they don't want to do that. The government don't want to do it. Because the reason why, as it's been said, because the refugees are in hotels and stuff, so there's nowhere for the Irish elderly people to be put into. Because there's a lot of elderly people down the country who don't have any power, and there's no word about putting them into hotels until they get power back. There's no word about that. There's not even a whisper of putting an Irish woman, an Irish elderly man, into a hotel to keep them warm and to keep them safe. No word about that. That's what I'm saying, bro. And it's only the truth. You can arrest me if you want, but it's only the truth. Because that was what was said in prime time last. Could the government not pay for elderly people to go into the hotel and stuff like that to get to keep warm and stuff like that? They didn't give a shit about it. So protect Granny a few years ago. Now fuck Granny, pretty much. That seems to be the government strategy. I'll show you later on. There's a video, Theresa Mannion. I don't know if you know Theresa Mannion. Don't make unnecessary journeys, but she's the correspondent for Mayo at the moment for radio television. And she interviewed an elderly man. I think he's 82. He's no power, no electricity, no nothing. A man 82. The government just left him there. It's the same in Cavan too. And again, this is the criticism I have the most of the authorities and stuff like that here in Cavan and across the country. People had to go looking for them. People had to go looking for help. The authorities didn't go and help them. Like, you think the Gaudi or even the defence forces, the government would have set out the defence forces to go and knock on people's doors, particularly elderly people, to see are they all right? Do they need anything? Do they need food? Do they need medicine? What do they need? There was no such thing as that. I see no one called the Sinn Féin knocking on anybody's door here to see did anybody need any help or anything that. So pretty much people had to reach out for the state to help them, which is insane because the state should have went there knocking on doors saying what can they do for them. But people had to go and reach out to the government for help. Would you believe that? It should have been the other way around. The government should be looking at reaching out to them to see if they want help. That's what I have the biggest criticism of. Yeah, I've seen that, Brian. So we know who we get talking about the storm later on again. Yeah, but see, they didn't watch it. They wanted in America too. They wanted to get rid of gas stoves and stuff. Nobody wanted to. They didn't want you to have gas stoves. It's the same here. They didn't want you to have gas stoves either. It's all aim and wine. It's the same with fireplaces. Like the majority of houses are built nowadays, you're not allowed to have a chimney on them. For a stove or anything. You're not allowed to have that. It's supposed to have electric heating. It's the same with everything's electricity now. But sure, guess who's to blame for that? The Green fucking Party, and along with Fianna Fáil Fine Gael, because they sat there and agreed with it. So we're going to look at all our new junior ministers. Just to say, there's more junior ministers now than there ever was in Irish history. There's 23 junior ministers, all on about 149,000 plus 45,000 expenses to see, and obviously their standard salary and all that. So millions a year, pretty much, I would say. So we have all these pricks, useless pricks, excuse me. Thomas Bowen, minister, like the long fucking puff over here. And then we like pretty much all these are just no good. But yeah, Mikey Healy, so pretty much he sold his soul to get this, pretty much. So we see what good he does in that. Like pretty much it's just long titles. These are just senseless bullshit, to be totally honest with you. It's just so they give them a cushy number, pretty much, and money for nothing, pretty much, because all of them are not worth nothing to give any money for. So we will talk about Robert Troy in a second, because he probably shouldn't be in any kind of government office at all. He shouldn't be in it at all in the first place. Neves Smith and local team, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, just pretty much money for nothing, to be totally honest. Maddie Narkin to an independent Leitrim. Leitrim doesn't exist, but she sold her soul too to get a big job in the government and to support the government. Where was this now? So I usually don't agree with Paul Murphy, to be totally honest. I don't like him, to be totally honest. But I agree with him on this. And Robert Troy, this is to do with Robert Troy's TD just for down the road here, Wexford. No, not Wexford, sorry. Westmead and Offaly, isn't it? Westmead and Offaly. Oh, Offaly Westmead, sorry. Offaly Westmead, that's it. So Robert Troy is now a junior minister. And you're probably wondering why I'm bringing up this fellow particularly. So the standards in public office, the office, for pretty much people who break the law in public office, pretty much, found that he broke the Ethics Act, which is SIP to the standard of public office, as I say. So he pretty much broke the standards in public office because he had property that they didn't disclose. Because as you remember, the Oireachtas, both Shannon they own it all out, even as a councillor too. You're supposed to say, I have so many properties, I have this, put it on the record. He didn't do that, Robert Troy. He claimed that he forgot about it. I forgot that I own all these properties. I just happened to forget. It just slipped the mind. How we all do it. We all have about 6 or 7 properties. It slips our mind. It just slips the mind that we own them and stuff like that. We own them, and it's insane to think. But pretty much nothing has changed. He's just back in government now. He has a big cushy job in the government. He probably shouldn't. He probably should be in prison, or even worse. But that's democracy. People voted for him. I don't know why they voted for him, why they did it, but that's just my assessment. That's my 50 cents on it. We're all just talking among ourselves. So we're all happy with the new wall. So these cuts in the Office of Public Works, the Office fucking of Public Works, to be totally honest, somebody should go and get a wrecking ball and knock down the Office of Public Works at this stage in terms of just demolish it. completely cut it. Because at this stage it's a joke. So this wall. You're probably wondering why I'm showing you just a random wall. €500,000 for this. Lovely. Cost €500,000 to build a wall. It's insane. And we still have the Office of Public. What I mean by knocking down the Office of Public Works, you should get rid of it, cut it, completely get rid of it, because obviously they seem to be up to some fucking. This is money laundering. Like, let's put it straight, it's money laundering. Like, no way in hell. Like, anybody that says in the right mind that this wall here, from this side to down here, cost €500,000, it's high as a kite, because there's no way in hell. It costs €500,000 to build a wall. That's not. You can even climb over it. Like, if you put your hands, probably be able to climb over it. Like, it's not a huge wall. Like, there's probably walls down here or somewhere that are bigger than this that cost less to build. So I don't know how in hell do they cost €500,000. Like the Office of Public. The first thing the government should have done is abolish the Office of Public Works. But the only reason why they won't abolish it, because obviously the people who got this contract, because it's not this council, the government of the bill, they give it out to contractors, and they probably have a cushy number. They could be, best friends with Leo Varadkar, take this up, and he could be giving them a little nod in Fine Gael, saying, "Oh, look after my friends in this construction company." And the same with Simon Harris. It could be his friends too that own this construction company, and it's a cushy number pretty much for them, a few bob for them. They could have only spent 45,000 on the right, and then they're pocketing the rest. That's what they're doing. Because many people, I think even Derek Bolloy, Alan Forst, said it, and he's a bricklayer, and he said at most this should cost about 30,000 to 40,000, like this whole wall, 40 to 30,000, which probably would be right, something around that, for the time, and obviously paid the people to do it, because you couldn't have just people building things for nothing. But it would be probably around that, roughly, maybe 50. It'd be a stretch to say 50 to 60, but it's a lot better than this. It's a lot better than this. Like, whatever about 50,000, I take 50,000 over this, $500,000 to build a wall. Like, God forbid if we ever have to build a wall on our borders, how much it's going to cost. Because we can't build a house, we can't build a hen house, we can't build a bicycle shed, we can't build a security hut, we can't build a wall. We can't build anything in this godforsaken country. Like, this is great. And the funniest thing is the wall will probably fall down someday. It'll probably just fall down because it's probably dirt cheap. So yeah, are we looking forward? That's the new government project. €500,000 on the wall. Are we happy with that? Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. But it'd be better than what it was. €500,000 for that small wall. Like, there's bigger walls in the country. But that's what the Derek Bolloy of the area, and he's a bricklayer. He would know his stuff. I don't know much about building houses and stuff, but he said it would be about 30K to 40K, which for the manpower and for the bricks and stuff, around that. But what I'm trying to say is, I would take that over €500,000 for a wall, because that's all the wall is. Like, you probably think it's a big security wall, like it's only a small wall like that. Yeah, that's the price for a house in Cavan, like about 300,000, 400,000. So you buy a house in Cavan for that, just to say it. So think about that for a second. So the government have a bit. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is too, the grand scheme of it all, the Irish people voted for this. They voted for this to continue, because the same crowd that's done it before with the bicycle shed, the same fuckers are still in. Excuse my language, but they're still there in Darlaven. Like, they're still there, so nothing's ever going to change. So it's pretty much going to be the same old, because nothing's ever going to change. Hello, Gordon. It's been a while. How are we doing? So nothing's ever going to change, unfortunately. Because the same focus are in, and there's no. Like, the Office of Public Works should be disbanded at this stage if this is the carry on that's still happening. Because it was the Office of Public Works who built that security hut for 1.7 million for a security hut. And then they built the bicycle shed for nearly 400,000. And then they built this for €500,000. Like, there should be some probably investigation into the Office of Public Works and what's really happening. Because there's definitely money laundering. Like, there's no way in hell a wall cost. No way in hell. Like, let's be fair. There's no way in hell. So somebody's pocketing the money somewhere. Like, it's definitely money laundering. Like, that's what's happening here. Like, we need to say it as it is. Because there's no way. The office. Funny thing in Dublin. Meanwhile, just speaking about the Office of Public Works, because they're the best people, we should all get a job in the Office of Public Works because they care a lot for the Irish people and the money the Irish people have to go out and work for and their taxes. There's a great love for that in this country. Don't you know it? Yeah. So yeah, the Office of Public Works too, along with that, spent fuck this. I hate these fucking ads. Fuck these ads. I hate though. But yeah, Office of Public Works spends 25,000 for fighting for money tips. Half the price. Like these people should probably be stopped from doing anything because value for money tips, and then they turn around and do this. It's a good thing. 25,000 just for money tips. Somebody should really put these people in prison. To be told for money laundering. Like this fellow should probably be put in prison for misuse of public funds and for corruption too. I need to go as far as saying the Treason Act. We should put the Treason Act in place. The deem them a threat to the state, a danger to democracy, etc., etc. Because 25,000 here, like they're just fucking money all over the place. Is what I'm trying to say. And the worst thing about it is, there's no such thing for money for elderly people without electricity now. There's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as we're going to help elderly people. No, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. But it's insane. Blocker, yeah, probably should. So that's that. So where are we going from there? Let me see. Sorry, just walking this out here. Yeah, so to go back to this, I talked about this last 2 weeks ago, must be. This to do with the new army helicopters, the new weapon guns on the army helicopters, the new military helicopters. That's the word to describe them. So after the government said this, that they would not have Israeli technology from Israel, it turns out they are. So after the government said they won't do it, they already are. So pretty much the weapon systems and stuff like that that's in the army helicopter, new army helicopters, are going to be from the Israeli defense sector of Israel. Even though the government said they would not do it, and they promised people that they wouldn't. So they've done it anyway, pretty much. Right? So why would you do one thing and say the other thing? And is there no other countries in the world apart from going to Israel to do it? Could we not go to the United Kingdom? Could we not go to France? Could we not go to some other country, even the United States of America, if we need to, then go to Israel about it? It doesn't make much sense, especially the one country that said they would not buy the weapon system from is Israel, and then they went ahead and done it anyway. So it's kind of much bullshit, if you ask me. To be totally honest. Now this tweeting. So yeah, long story short, the government just come back to the storm. It took them a while to go look for help for humanitarian aid from other European countries. Now we're talking this Finnish help, this Dutch help, etc., etc. There's help from Austria. From a good part of the European Union too, not from further away. Finland's the longest distance country away to send help. But yeah, so they did were very slow. But we should first of all, we shouldn't have had to ask for help anyway. But nobody's willing to say that. And just to say, like, this poor old man here has just been left to rot, pretty much. So the Minister for State, James Brown, was here bullshitting here yesterday around the whole fucking county. Thankfully, I didn't come across him, because I would have told him he's a bullshitter, and he might as well go, because why is he going around shaking people's hands? That's not going to help anybody. But long story short, this man has to be left without anything, pretty much. and then this fellow comes up from Dublin to talk shit, Niall Brown. So I feel sorry for people like him. He's no water, no nothing. This is the people. This is the people behind the figures, pretty much. Yeah, but we shouldn't be probably doing business with Israel. That's what I say. I don't think we should be doing any business with Israel at the moment. To be totally honest, what about any other culture, I think we should not be doing business with Israel. Especially when you say this, the other thing is the principle. Why would you say a thing and then do it? That's what I'm saying. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they specifically said they weren't going to do it, and then they went and done it anyway. Like either do it or don't do it. But I don't think we shouldn't have anything to do with Israel for the price. Yeah, but it's still going to be extraordinary price. But I still don't think. I think we would have got it from other countries better. Be totally honest, than Israel. To be totally honest with them. And particularly what's happening we see in Gaza and stuff. I know about Fortress Ligna and stuff like that. But there is, if you look at Gaza on a picture of a map, it's not. It's been basically set back into. It's been bombed to oblivion. Let's put that way. But that's just my opinion. But you get what I'm saying. We could have got it probably for a better deal with a European country. What I'm trying to say, France could have had a few that said, we'll give it for you on the cheap enough. We're not overcharge you. But the Israeli, they're going to charge us a huge amount. Like they know how to charge the Israeli government, because especially because yourself, they're calling everybody in Ireland, etc., etc. The insane stuff too. They're at them the same bus at Ireland. But they charge us anyway. Let's put out. They're not going to give us good value. They're going to overcharge us and stuff. You see, like you can see it 100 miles away happening. So yeah, a new minister, you probably know it too, Brian. Niamh Smith is getting the junior minister role. Now it's a long stated title. Deputy Department of Enterprise, Trade and Employment. Junior Minister at the Department of Trade, Employment, responsibility for trade promotion, artificial intelligence, which is the first ever, I think, in Irish junior minister ever called for artificial intelligence, and digital transformation. Now I don't like that word. The digital transformation seems like something Davos came up with, but yeah, that's that's whole long title. Minister for State for the Department of Department of Enterprise, Trade and Employment, responsibilities for trade promotion and artificial intelligence. Basically, what this means is loads of money for nothing, pretty much, in the nicest possible way. Loads of money for doing nothing, pretty much. The only thing I could see for this, she'd be going around to every country in the planet. So what I think about this, I don't think they need all these junior ministers. It's good that Cavan has some kind of minister, I will say that, because there's not one minister from Donegal, Cavan, or Monaghan, like from the border counties. So that's what I say. That's my opinion on it for sure. But accountability. Hello, Seba. How are you doing? Yeah, well, we're not even that accountability 40. Do you remember that in the election post, accountability 40? Like, you're getting more funding now than ever. So I don't know what the accountability is. But still, nonetheless, I suppose it's good that Cavan has some kind of minister representing them, or junior minister even. As I said, we should probably say this a few minutes ago. As I say, Cavan was pretty bad. Still at the moment, 12,000 homes in Cavan without power or electricity. Cavan and Monaghan, sorry. As you can see, it's pretty bad. You can see here. You can see up in Killashandra it's bad, and Ballyconnell, like bad all over the place. Yeah. We'll get to this in a second too. Just to bring you up to date, just to bring you up to date. For a wall in Dublin, nearly would buy you a whole house. So this is a house in Dublin, as you see. So for square, I don't know how you. They basically foot squared, basically. It's 12,000 euro for foot squared, pretty much. So that's great. So this is a house in Dublin. Three bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 70 euro terrace. This is a small house, not a big house. That'll be €1 million, please, for that. Thank you. €1 million, yes, please, thank you. So all said and done, yeah, about $1 million. Isn't it great? €1 million for this house. I wouldn't mind if it was that luxurious, but that's it. That's what you're getting for €1 million. So spend wisely. We'll get into that now in a second. How's your day going? Not too bad. Not too bad. How are you? Not 15 minutes, yeah. Whereas I think you meet more than the lot to buy that house, to be totally honest. So just want to go in. So at the moment in time we see this, the Irish media are all coming out with this because the Irish government are going to push to try and join NATO. Like you can tell by reading this that the Irish government are trying to hoodwink people to join NATO. Now they're saying that Ireland will be more isolated on the world stage, etc., because Ireland won't join NATO, etc. But there's a solution to that. And they're saying that the NATO warships have to patrol our shores, etc., and the United Kingdom has to patrol our skies. This is the thing. If they would actually pay men and women to serve in the army, we wouldn't need NATO. We can defend ourselves. As simple as that. And then it's funny that the Irish Times clearly forgets too that it would cost us probably €5 billion a year going to NATO. Not to mention we need to spend on military spending. So we talk about maybe 13 billion or so, 14 billion a year under the Irish Defence Forces on NATO because we have to pay into NATO too. You just don't join NATO and not contribute. So that 14 billion has to come from somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say. The Irish slimes won't mention that because either we cut back on social protection, either we cut back on God the Sinn Féin, the justice system, etc., or the health system that's already on the verge to collapse, the education system. So pretty much the money has to come from somewhere. But what I'm saying, the even cheaper option is if we pay men and women to serve in the army here and have a big army and a big navy, etc. Because it can be done, but there's no will to do it because the Irish government want to be in NATO. They want a European army. They can not really see. They can tell by reading this out. I read through it all. Like you can really see what they're doing here. Like they're really kind of trying to set out Ireland's going to be forgotten about and all that, left aside, etc. But we don't have to be left aside if we can defend ourselves. But Micheál Martin and Simon Howes is coming out and saying, "Oh, we need to defend our sovereignty, and how we do that, we go one into NATO to defend us." That doesn't make any sense. We can do it ourselves. We've done it for almost nearly 100 years. We've never been a part of a military alliance. We've done it for the last 100 years, so we can do it for another 100 years. But there's no will. The Irish politicians don't believe in backwards-looking idea of sovereignty. So that's the problem. First of all, that these Irish politicians don't believe that Ireland should have sovereignty, etc. So they don't care. They simply don't care about Ireland's defence, and they pretty much want to be owned by NATO, etc. But if they would invest into the army, because we have the lowest defence spending in Europe, it's only €1 billion, which sounds a lot, but it's not. Malta's spending more than us on defence. When you see that, there's something very, very wrong. And when you see Irish Navy ships docked in port, like there's 9 Navy ships at the moment of the Irish Navy docked in port because they can't go out in the water because there's no manpower to put on the water. And when you see the OAF has to defend our skies, there's a big problem. But again, this all can be solved if they pay men and women to serve in the armed forces, as simple as that in this country. If they actually pay them a decent wage, things can be solved, as simple as that. But it's the fact of the matter, the solution they're coming up with now to defend Ireland's sovereignty, we run off to NATO and join NATO and spend billions to join NATO. When it's cheaper nearly to pay men and women to serve in the defence forces, get the numbers up to 20,000. Get the ships on the high seas, etc. That would protect Irish sovereignty, because it's delusional what they're saying. We'll have to join NATO to protect Irish sovereignty. Well, they don't believe in Irish sovereignty, so I don't know why they're picking and choosing when they believe in it and when they don't believe in it. But it's ludicrous. So Simon Howes should probably be getting the boot because he's obviously no good as Minister for Defence. But yeah, it's insane. Yeah, Malta has bigger spending in defence than Ireland, just to say. Like Ireland has one of the lowest in the European Union. So that's my point. Why are we quiet to NATO? Increase the Fed spending to about, I know it sounds a lot, but the money would have to come from something for 3 or 4 billion. We'd be doing well. We can get we can get more men into the army, etc., more women into the army, etc. The Irish Times, that's what I call them, because pretty much they're there. Like the Irish Times, they are pretty much trying to gaslight people into, we need to join NATO now. Pretty much trying to hoodwink the Irish public. That's what the mainstream media are doing at the moment in all the articles. They're hoodwinking people. We'd be forgotten about the United States, Britain, and all that will want anything to do with us because we're a neutral country. That's what they're saying. They're more or less trying to hoodwink people, fighting people into we have to join NATO. Irish people have to be said to die in Europe. That's pretty much what they're trying to say. Because you can read what they're trying to do, the Irish Times. Because again, you have to remember Dennis O'Brien owns the Irish Times. And Dennis O'Brien is pretty much a Fine Gaeler true and true. Like one of the biggest backers of Fine Gael. So it's in his benefit too, because there'll be more money for him too if it does succeed. Because there will be a big thing to try and get Ireland into NATO. You can already see it. There will be a big thing to try and do it. But the only way I can see it, if the put a referendum, people vote. Like the only reason why Ireland hasn't joined it because the overwhelming majority of Irish people are not really willing to die for a European war. That won't have anything to do with us. Not many people are willing to go and die for countries hundreds of miles away, and for little to no benefit to Ireland, but loads of dead bodies. That's nobody's willing to do that in Ireland. We done it during the First World War. We're not going to do it again. Sending Irish people to their deaths. No, we're not doing that. So that's the beginning and end of it. And I think the majority of Irish people are in the same opinion. Because that's why we haven't joined. Because the Irish people are formally against it. Polls after polls, it's in the 80-90% rate. It's one of the foremost things Irish people have in their mindset that we don't want to get involved in any wars or anything like that. And first of all, the country's not prepared for any kind of war. We've just seen with the storm. If there was a war in the morning, the country wouldn't last. The infrastructure, the country wouldn't last. We'd be gone within a week. Because it's just plainly set straight. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you see them whacking on the sabres. Like, again, the main solution years ago, in the 60s and then even in the 70s, the Irish Army could defend the state. We had a defence forces, nearly over 15,000, something like that, nearly 20,000 members of the Oakland and Heron, etc., ships in the high seas. We even had aircraft there that time. But the simple that they don't for the last 30 years, almost 20 years, they always wanted to join the European army. That's been the main goal of the Irish government, to join the European army and to join NATO. That's been the main goal. So we won't invest in the defence because NATO will do it for us, You get what I'm saying? But they won't be. That's what I'm saying. Like, Michael Martin's not going to go over to say, God forbid, if it did happen, into Latvia or the Baltic countries if a war happened. And there'd be no benefit to Ireland, because why would we send hundreds of thousands of young Irishmen to go, like myself, off to die in Europe? Why would we do that for literally nothing for Ireland out of it? Why would we do that? Why would we send half of our young people to die in Europe for no benefit, to Ireland? And especially because it's been the longest-standing tradition of the state, and particularly again international peacekeeping, etc. Ireland has a huge role in that. Why would we give up? Why would we throw all that out the window over the last 65 years? Just fuck it all out the window and join NATO. When we can do it ourselves. That's the thing. Because we have the means. Like, if we were to pay men and women to serve in the army, I met so many young men and women that I know that would love to join the army in the morning if there was good pay and good conditions. Years ago, how they got people into the army. Because you probably remember the older people would remember, Sean, if he's still here, would probably remember back in the day, the 70s and the 80s. Ads on the TV, good pay, good food. That's what they got people into the army years ago. You have good pay and good food. And so was, people said, I'd even known people back who were retired from the army in the 80s and stuff like that. They're dead. Some of them was dead now, but they were getting good money back then in the 80s and stuff. It was a good job. It was one of the best jobs you could get in the defence forces. But that was when the troubles were going on, etc., etc. But it was good money. But that's what people were saying. It was good money. It was a good career. You could make something out of yourself. You could actually buy stuff. Nowadays you can't. People have left to go and work in Tesco. Like, you can really see these figures here. Just speaking about the defence forces, just leading into my neck. So this is the army with fuel that the defence forces have put out. So at the moment, this is probably down a bit. At the moment, the army stands at 7,557. So this is the breakdown. So 6,000 the Irish army, the ground army. 700 in the air, because 737. And in the naval over 719. So they want to increase it to 15,000, as I say, by 2028. That's not going to happen. We're nearly going down to 6,000. The lowest ever in the history of the state, just to say. This is the lowest numbers in the history of the Irish state. Like, even when the country had no money in the 1930s, when it was the Irish Free State at the time, the Irish Army was still higher than what it is. It was always consistently at about 10 to 15,000, even back then. Like, when the country literally had no money, they had even more members in the army in the Irish Free State. It doesn't make any sense. There's what 15,000 soldiers. Like this is not going to happen because it keeps going down. Like you see now in a second. So this is the spreadsheet. So this is from 2024. You can see the difference. So you can see the drop, consistent drop, 8,500. This is the army. So you can see overall the army, air corps, navy. So the army you can see has always been the biggest one. But you can see a drop. So 6,000. So in total, like this is the total from the three services of the armed forces. 8,586 is went down to 8,845. You can see the drop. You can see the constant drop. You can see then it goes down to, it drops hugely in 2021. They can see it drop down from 8,000 to 7,900. Then you can see it drop down even more. And you can see it drop down even more. And you can see even look at the army's figures, nearly 7,000 in the army there. Down to, it keeps going down to 5,000, in the defense force. You can see in the Navy too. It was once in 2020, it was 902. It went down to 875, went down to 789. Like the Navy, you can really see the Navy was the worst of the whole lot of them. It went down. And then obviously the Air Corps too. But yeah, you can see that this simply, it's very declined. Like there's loads of other stuff there in terms of, but yeah, it's pretty much very bad. Because this is the worst numbers in the history of the state, you have to remember. Even when the country had no money in the 1930s, it was bigger than this. That's what I'm trying to say. So even just suggesting that Ireland goes off and fights off in the war, wherever, is ludicrous because there's literally nothing to back it up because there's nobody trained to fight a war. We basically send the fodder off to Europe. We'll pretty much be sending Irish young lads with just guns that don't know how to use them into the firing line, pretty much. That's what's going to be happening if we did join NATO. Yeah, if you paid them better, that's just to say. Like, yourself, you ask a few young people, would they join the army? Probably a good lot of them would join. And a few of them have joined and then left because there's no money. Simple as that. Well, at the end of the day, they have bills to pay. Simple as that. They won't pay them. Simple as that. They want people to work for nothing. That's the problem. See, as you probably remember, I don't know if you were here a few minutes ago. I was saying I don't remember if you remember seeing the ads in the 80s and the 90s. They were always, the army saying was good pay, good food. That's what I'm saying. So that's what a lot of people joined the army back then for, because the TV ads were always like good food, good pay. You get a good meal, you get 3 meals a day, very good, high quality meals, and you get a good, decent wage. And it was a decent wage. A lot of people liked the wage years ago. It's awful. My sound is awful. That's lovely. I don't know if that's any better. It could be something I touched or something. I might have touched the second by mistake. It might come back. If not, then fucked. It's these washings. Interference is the washings. That's lovely. Let me see. I don't know why that would be doing that. Don't know why it would be doing that. Let me see. It's better now. I don't know. Don't know why it would be doing that. Hopefully it stays okay because we only have a few more things to cover on, and that'll be good enough. So I don't know why I done that, but it might have hit something by mistake. So see, that's the worst thing. It could hit something. So I probably did hit something. I don't know. I'm just looking at my settings now to see that I hit anything. It seems to be fine. Looking at this. Don't know. It's the Irish Defence Force that hacking me. Yeah, like that's what was said years ago. That's why loads of people joined years ago, because it was the simple thing, like good pay, you get good pay, and it was a good career. People could actually live on it. It was a good wage. People, you often probably heard people years ago, Sean, saying that it was good money in the army. People joined the army because it was good pay and good 3 meals a day. You have a good breakfast, a good dinner, and a good meal in the evening. And that's what people joined, because there was very little opportunities. I'm sure you know yourself, in the 70s and 80s in Ireland, and that was the thing. So for a lot of young lads, it was like, that's all you want. A good meal and, a good few bob at the end of the week. Hopefully, it doesn't fuck up now. Anyway, so yeah, but even just peacekeeping, just saying, like even if we join NATO in the morning, it's better we keep the way we are because we have a history of peacekeeping and stuff like that, in a military alliance. So that we basically throwing all that down the drain too, but in a way too. So this is just after coming up too. German MEPs passed a motion to limit immigration. So hopefully Ireland does the same. But as you know, there's a German election coming at the end of February, isn't it? The end of February. Sorry, I had to take that for that. I couldn't remember when it was. So we shall see. Obviously, the alternative for Deutschland seems like it's going to win. And we're not win, but do very well. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the mainstream political parties in Germany seems like they're on the way out, to be totally honest. So it seems like it'd be an alternative for Deutschland, pretty much. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe this might help a little bit. I don't know. But we see. We'll see what happens. But Ireland should do the same. That's what I'm trying to say. Fungal, yeah, mushrooms. So speaking of money waste and stuff like that, so apparently Fortune Ireland, this is the tourism board of Ireland. Apparently we don't know. It's actually they're not actually asking the questions about it. So it was 670,000 for this. So supposedly, they're saying it's for other tourism signs. It wasn't just this; it was other tourism signs. So as you can see, the bullshit on at the end that they didn't signs, but I presume they probably did. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they spent, how much was it? It was nearly 700,000 euro on just this. I wouldn't be surprised. It is the Irish government. Like they're known for spending money on these things. They're known for just fucking money down the drain. No, but not even that. It's a massive problem just recruiting anybody in general. Like the figures there too. Like the amount of people who are signing and leaving the army, not for retirement, just leaving because of pay and conditions. That's what's happened. Like it's not people retiring; it's people leaving at their own accord because they're just sick of it. That's the problem in the army, and there's mainly young people. There's no money yet. Simple as that. Also, it's not going well for the Finnish government at the moment. They're very upset at the moment. Everybody's very upset. So there's local authority elections coming up in April, and pretty much everybody's up and out. To put it nicely, 70% of Finnish people are fucking sick of the cuts because the cuts have basically done nothing to help anything. As I said, I don't know if you've seen the community post, but pretty much Finland's debt has increased and it's keep going up, even though the cut, like the amount of money they've cut is insane. Like if you really look at the amount of money they've cut billions in public finance, and the debt is still going up. So I don't know how they're managing to do this. But long story short, pretty much what's been suggested at the moment of what's going to happen, like it's inevitable that it's going to happen. The True Finns and the National Coalition Party in Finland is going to get annihilated. Like the Algen are going to be set back into the next century because they are going to, like people are really, really wild up. Pretty much there was a general strike too. So it's a big, huge strike in Finland too over it. So everybody's up in arms from every part of the government, like every part of society is up in arms pretty much. So yeah, pretty much what I'm trying to say is the pretty much the Finnish government's on its last legs. The election's probably going to just break them, to be honest, answer, because there's no hope of them winning it. The local authority elections and stuff, they're going to be set back into the next century. The True Finns, etc., etc. Like there's no hope of them winning it because they're looking at the numbers and looking at the amount of people that are just fucking angry as fuck. It's not going well for them. Like in every sense of the world, it's not going well for them. Like even there was a poll done too. They say would they rather Sanna Marin or the Cone Finnish Prime Minister, and overwhelmingly, people said we want Sanna Marin, because the Cone Finnish Prime Minister they deem him as an idiot and a stupid, pretty much stupid. Like it's pretty much everybody's calling him Nazi clown government. Pretty much that's what the nickname of the Finnish government was. It's a Nazi clown government. So lovely. Great thing to have to say. Yeah, we'll see what happens going face in the German election. It does seem like they're going to do well. They turned for Deutschland. We see, but the only thing I say, as long as the people of Germany are happy, I don't want to interfere with their business, but it's up to the German people, as I say. Um, but yeah, that's not going well. Speaking of Finland, it was very nice of them to send help. One thing I say about the Finnish government, in fairness to them, they did send help. They did send help. There's actually, as I speak now, there's technicians from Finland here restoring power to some parts of Cavan. So in fairness, that was the longest distant country, because Ireland is here, right? Ireland is here. Finland's way over there. Like France and England and stuff like that sent help, and Austria sent help too, and the Netherlands, of course, too. But it's very kind because Finland is way over the other side of the world, pretty much. So it's very nice they sent help. They sent 40 people and stuff like that, along with supplies and stuff like that. So very kind of them too. I'm sure we would agree it's very kind of them, because again, it's at the Finnish government are paying for them to come over. Yeah, it would. Yeah, but it's good that there's sent help, because again, they're further away. Like the Finnish government are probably paying a good bit of money to send them, because Austria only sent 10 people. Austria only sent 10 people, and the Netherlands only sent about 15 people. Like Finland sent 40 people, along with equipment and stuff like that. And Finland's further away. You have to remember too. That's what I'm saying. So the government, like the local authority here, was surprised too that the Finnish government said they would come and help. And a lot of people blame me for that. They blame me for that because it's funny how they're here in Cavan, because that's what they were said. They were said here to Cavan. A lot of them, not all 40 of them, but a good few of them, along with the Kingdom of the Netherlands too, said help. Like the Netherlands only said about 20 or something like that. So Finland said more than I don't know, but England said a good few. But yeah, Finland said a good bit to our assistance. Well, I'm very aware that I heard it 100 times going face when I was in Finland about Russia and the border and stuff like that. But they're very well prepared. Because at the moment there's about 20 feet of snow in one part of Finland and they haven't lost power. So if that happened here, the whole country would collapse, just to put it nicely. Like in one part of Finland at the moment, it's 20 feet of snow. And nobody lost power. Things are just going about, the usual business. Nobody's panicking. Yeah, they already have a program in Finland to do with this. Like I looked the books and stuff like that. Like they do, it's to do with the Russians more, because the Russians are trying to misinformation and stuff like that. It is true. They're trying to kind of influence a lot of young people in Finland. They have it for years. Not just recently. They have for the last 20 years. It's all to do with just trying to decipher. It was back from the Soviet, but this would be even before the Soviet Union, before the Soviet Union collapsed. They had it. It's to do with this, yes, to try and identify Russian disinformation and different things like that, because there's disinformation from the Russians. Like at one stage, the Russians suggested a few last year was that the Finnish government fired a rocket into Russia, which is utterly stupid. That they would do such a thing into the middle of nowhere. Like that's what they suggested. The Finnish government fired a rocket into the middle of nowhere, which was stupid because, first of all, it literally was in the snow, pretty much. Why would they fire it into the middle of nowhere? So that didn't make any sense. So pretty much, yeah, that was fake news from the Russians. They were just trying to, start something. Pretty much, that's what they're trying to do. So they have it for a long time. I don't know. I could talk to you a good bit about it because I've seen the books and stuff like that. But it's useful enough because you can it's kind of what I've always lived by too. Like you say, like really what it says, is you look into it, you say nothing until you hear more, and stuff like that. You kind of identify what it is. It's even just the same for things online. Like there's things I've often seen online. Even just take, for example, from Santa's, perfect example. Before it's met Santa today, some mentioned Santa today. But even take, for example, when Santa's stalker. Originally, they said he was from Pakistan. That's what the majority of citizen journalists said. And then we found out he was from Turkey. We knew he was from somewhere around there. We didn't know exactly. But I think you remember I said Pakistan, first of all. But I didn't know for 100%. We didn't know ourselves. But that's what I'm saying. Somebody said he was from Pakistan. And everybody went for it originally. And then we found out he's from Turkey. But you get what I'm saying. Somebody said it. They didn't have any evidence of it. Everybody just assumed it was the truth. But then it was, we were kind of misinformation, I suppose, in that regard. Even it didn't really matter. It was not from Finland then. We knew that as a fact, but we didn't know exactly, if that makes any sense. So, if that makes any sense, like there was things about that, and then there was said stuff about him that wasn't true, and then we found out it wasn't true and stuff like that. So you know what I'm saying? Like somebody could say something and it wouldn't be true and stuff like that. So it's important we kind of check it. They can look somebody there. We knew he was from the Middle East somewhere, but we didn't know where in the Middle East. He was from Turkey originally, but you get what I'm saying. But originally, the first thing I think everybody will remember, I said he was from Pakistan. That's what I presumed, and that's what I was told. But see, where that person got the information from, it was originally posted on Twitter, and the person kind of just said, "Trust me, bro." That's and then that kind of went around, and then it was told to me that it was from Pakistan. And then everybody kind of went with it, and then we found out exactly everything about him and everything to do with him, and that's how we found out. But you get what I'm saying. But we still, that was misinformation because we wasn't exactly telling the truth and what. And I didn't know at the time, but again, the person who did that originally probably didn't have bad intentions, just kind of said it and just was like, "Trust me, bro." But then we found out what his name was and then we could find out who he was then, because at the time we didn't know his name. The media wouldn't give them his name and all that. That's what happened. So you get what I'm saying now, and only these things can happen, and I suppose it's kind of just seeing what's true, and I suppose waiting around it. We would have waited for a few extra hours instead of said it for the invasion of Vikings. Yeah. Well, the Danish government said generators. They didn't send any assistance, but they said generators. They said something like 12 generators or something in Denmark, the Kingdom of Denmark, which is nice of them. But yeah, no, Finland's out of the good bit of expense because they actually said manpower and equipment to Ireland. And obviously being further away. Like you understand Denmark. Denmark's a bit closer than Finland. And the same with Austria and France and the Netherlands and Belgium and the UK, because they're literally right on our doorstep pretty much. Compared to Finland, way over there. There's no help from any other European people. But the fact of the matter is, too, we shouldn't have had to go. But they do. The Finnish government wasn't asked. They volunteered to send them. The British government was asked for. We asked the British government for assistance. The French government was asked for assistance too to help us out. But the Finnish government kind of just heard about it and offered help. So it was nice of them. It was nice of we to send us help. So I don't know. But people blame me for that. That's I'm getting the blame for though. So asking the Finnish government. I didn't ask the Finnish government now. But that's what happened. But you get what I'm saying? That's just an example only of what I'm saying. For now, yes. But it's good of them. Again, it's at the Finnish government's expense. So it's nice of them to send help, especially because again they're so far away. But and two, and just to say, if something happens in Finland or something happens in the Netherlands or something that we probably have to repay, we have to repay the favor, I suppose, for helping out. If that makes any sense. I'm sure we would agree on that, because if they came to our aid before, we should probably help them out in some way if they're having a situation. But the thing about in Finland, they look very prepared for anything. To be honest, like looking at what I've seen, nuclear bunkers and stuff like that, that pretty much they're not going to be slacking pretty much under it. Because I was in nuclear bunkers. Like Ireland probably has never heard of a nuclear bunker. The Irish government has never heard of a nuclear bunker. I don't even know if one exists in this state. I presume not. I don't think there is one in this state, like a nuclear facility. Like there's hundreds of them, like thousands of nuclear bunkers in Finland. I said with airway bunkers and stuff, none of them exist. Not even one airway bunker here in this country. So I wouldn't want to see if there's a war in the morning, because this country has no preparation at all for it. Fine €400 for 2 bags of goods. I didn't hear that, but it wouldn't be surprising. God, what did they do with the drugs? I often wonder to myself, when they seize drugs, right, in a drug raid, what did they do with the drugs? Did they keep it for themselves, or what did they do? So that explains that one. But as Moses McCabe said, the Garda Síochána O'Connor is the biggest criminal gang in the state. And that's somebody who was a sergeant in the Garda Síochána O'Connor. He said it, and John Wilson too. Yeah, Martin Nolan, I'd seen he let a predator off. He had something like 11,000 images. I think something like that. But he gave him a fully suspended sentence. Like he probably should be in prison too, Judge Nolan, for letting paedophiles off and stuff like that, and people like that. And if you didn't pay your TV license, the worst thing about it, if you didn't pay your TV license, he'd put you to prison. Like, let's be fair, somebody that does these kind of things should probably be put to prison for a good few years and to think about their actions. But Judge Martin Nolan should probably be put in prison, or we send them off to someone. We send them to someone Timbuktu. That's what we send them. We send them off to Africa and stuff. It's a TV. Basically, if you have a TV, you must have a TV license. So we hear that every day. But yeah, you have to pay a TV license to Radio Television and the public broadcaster, the public propaganda machine. You have to pay for the public propaganda machine. Nobody pays it. 600,000 people in the state don't pay it. But yeah, it's a long story. It's like the BBC. BBC you have to pay too. Yeah, none of them come around. OT are too afraid to come around now because they get like a lot of them left. TV licenses that left because they got too much abuse in the door. Because we just remember, I think people have forgotten about it. You know yourself, Green Phase and Aaron Only and Fiona too. A few months ago, less than a few months ago, remember with OT, the shenanigans with OT, spending 5,000 on flip flops and stuff like that. Like the amount of waste of public money in OT, and nobody was ever held accountable. Neve Smith was the chair of the Public Accounts Committee, and she said in the posters that OT was held to account. Nobody in OT was held to. D. Forbes and none of them are in prison. They should be in prison, but none of them were held to account. Like, why is Ryan Tubridy not in prison? Like, why is he not in prison? Why is D. Forbes not in prison? Why is none of them 14 in prison? Like, they should be all in the prison cell for a while. But none of them are in prison. That's what I'm saying. Who was held to account? Because nobody was ever put in prison. Nobody was ever, made to pay back all the money. So that's what I'm saying. Pretty much always forgotten about. Like, you hear nothing about it nowadays. Like, that was all forgotten about. So I don't know why Neve Smith, my local TD, and I've said it, she's told me say it, that what kind of accountability? And she's never answered the question, what kind of accountability is that for OT? Because we're putting, as everyone only just said there, 50, they give them more money. Like, imagine that they do something wrong and you give them more money. Imagine if you were in a business investor, take for example, you invest into a business now in the morning, everyone only, take for example, for argument's sake, you wouldn't invest in a business that was just spending money willy-nilly and wasn't making the profit. You say, fuck that, I'm not giving you my money. And you'd be right. But why would we give them more money, And then the other day, Michal Martin said that we're going to give more money to OT now too, because we need to keep public broadcasting alive. Because people are asking questions. So, what's it called? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, none of them, like, all the judges seem to be doing this, and there's no questions ever asked about it. Because it seems to be a trend in the Irish justice system. Like, it's something we probably should be asking questions about. Like, Judge Nolan probably should be in prison himself, or even I would even go further than that. But Oi, fitto. Eh? Why? Give me a second. I don't know what the fuck it is. It seems to be, Sean. It seems to be. Trying to find this. Where is this? So I'm just looking at stuff here too. I don't know where that thing was originally going to show you. Yeah, today. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm looking for this thing. I can't find it now. Uh, hmm. Fucking Peggy. Never mind. Fuck this. I can't find the thing I was originally show, but sure, look, I come across it at some stage. We're just chatting among ourselves. I think we went through a good bit tonight. We went through a good lot of rapid stuff and stuff. Sandman has never really mentioned Ireland too much, because mainly because she's never really been here. Like it was her first time there just a few weeks ago when she came to Dublin. But she did mention that time, and you've probably seen the community post about Ireland. Uh, I get the exact thing. I can't remember exactly because it's that much stuff. But she talked about Ireland before, when Michal Martin met her in Finland that time, when she was Prime Minister. Good while ago, long time ago now at this stage. But yeah, she talked about it. Then never really had much regard to mention us. Like yeah, you probably this is yeah. I think this is worrying for smaller nations like Ireland, and so I think that we need to do everything to protect ourselves, otherwise we'd be crushed. Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing she's ever really said. And obviously, then she said this is my first time in Dublin and Ireland and stuff. A lot of things I want to see and stuff like that in Dublin. She said, unfortunately, don't have time to see it today and stuff like that. So that's about it. She never really mentioned that. And apart from whatever she said to to Taoiseach, the Taoiseach now, Michal Martin, well, asked me whole. Anybody you can ask me whole. I'm not going to ask me whole what he was talking about. Santa probably said you should be long retired. That's what she probably said to him because it is weird. It is weird. Okay. Maybe. So I don't know. Yeah, but she probably would like Ireland. Like she said, she wanted to see a good few sites around Dublin. So, but she didn't get time because obviously she was going to the Netherlands, Amsterdam. But that's what she never really mentioned. Like again, she had no really reason to mention Ireland before. We'll get out to a lot of stuff. That was the reason why. Like, can't really think of any other reason why. Because it's only in recent enough times that Ireland and Finland has got on. Like Ireland and Finland has been said before to me when I was over there. It's more in the last 10 years that we had a better relationship with Finland. We never really did before, during the Cold War and stuff like that. We never really had a big relationship with Finland. We had a better relationship with Norway and Denmark because they were closer to us and stuff like that. But Ireland never really had a much of a relationship with Finland throughout the Cold War and stuff after the Second World War and stuff. Even just before Ireland never really had a big relationship, in terms of diplomatic relationship and stuff. Like in the last few years, last 10 years, we have a bit of better diplomatic relations with Finland than we did before, which is good. But there's never been much back and forth. There's a good bit of trade now back and forth between Finland and Ireland, but never as much. Would Cavan love to use nuclear power station? I don't know, because we probably somebody end up blowing it up. Because the way this country goes, it seems to be total incompetence. The Office of Public Works probably will build it, and then we have another Chernobyl on our hands. That's what happened, because they're obviously incapable. Now, obviously, too, if that was going to be built in this country, it'd take 300 billion euro to buy building. Because let's be fair, anything in this country you build, you can't build a bicycle shed, you can't build a wall. You couldn't build a nuclear power station without it being 56 billion euro. Let's be fair. So I don't know. It seems like a good idea, like nuclear power and stuff, but in this country it costs €1 billion. But apologies for missing it before. I was too busy yapping. But I don't think we should, because let's be fair, this country costs €300 trillion to build. Because let's be fair, as I just said, they can't build the wall, they can't build a bicycle shed, they can't build a security hut, they can't build a house, they can't build anything, let's be fair. So imagine them trying to build a nuclear power station, and imagine having somebody that, controlling that over here. It'd be hectic, but, it'd be insane. So, yeah. Just going back. Yeah, so this is when like the thing I keep raising. I don't know the Irish media at the time raised it, but yeah, she was
What is
36, 35, something like that. Micheál Martin was nearly he was over 60, he was something like 65 or something like that. So yeah, the age difference, and I suppose the comparison here, I keep going back to too. Because Micheál Martin, you remember a few years ago, he said he would not go into coalition with Fine Gael. You remember he said that, and then he did go into coalition with Fine Gael, and he's still in coalition with Fine Gael now. So pretty much the thing with Micheál Martin, he sold his soul. He sold everybody down the river to get the top job, pretty much. And it must be some comparison, because I'd love to be there just to say it to him, if I was there at the time, that she got to the prime ministership at 34. The youngest prime minister in the world, and only 10 years in politics. And Micheál Martin all his life. And he only got to the top job now because he sold everybody down the river. Because I'd love to make that comparison there, because he would really be pissed off if I said that to him. But also, just to say, these fucking pins are very hard to get. Because I got one, as you can see, it's tiny. This one's bigger. The one he has is bigger. They had none in the Irish embassy, because it was already asked for in advance. That get some kind of pin, and this is the pin they give me. They give me a small pin. I don't know where. So I don't know where he got his pin. He should give it to me. But at least he's wearing a flag. For the first time in his life, he's actually wearing an Irish flag. Because usually he wears nothing here. So it's about time he puts on an Irish flag. To be totally honest. But yeah, this was in 2022. That's when he was in Helsinki and stuff like that. That time. But yeah, no, there was no press briefing and stuff. It was just a discussion. I think it was just a general discussion about the European Union and stuff like that. That's all it was about. But yeah, the funniest thing too, like the big dinner and stuff. I missed half the stuff, but the big dinner. Anybody that I missed there, because I can't see all the stuff. But anybody that I missed, please put your comments again, because I missed a good few things there. Oh no, not again. You blame somebody here. They said about it. You're going to the hate speech, but I don't know. We're going to exile. But I don't know. It depends on what this new Justice Minister wants to do. We see what happens. We have to put pressure on him now not to bring it forward. But I don't know. I don't think they will ban me to such an extent. I think you get a good telling off, but I don't think it'll be banned. I don't think so. To be done, I think it's appropriate to keep me where I am. To be done, like not to. As one person said to me before, not to do anything to try and annoy me anymore. What I mean by that is, what I'm trying to say is, it's better to keep me the way I am without making me more annoyed and more angry because I get more focal and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to say is, was said to me before about an issue. They don't want to kind of piss me off much more, because I won't shut my fucking mouth. So it's better to keep me where I am now and pretty much being very frustrated and very annoyed, but not overly push me to the limit, if that makes any sense. Because I could get worse. That's what I'm saying. I could literally get worse if I wanted to, in terms of eating the heads of them if I wanted to. It's just that I'm being civil. I'm being civil the way I'm conducting myself, if that makes sense. I could be off the wall if I wanted to, in terms of if they wanted to. So, the ball's in their court. You know. So that's what I'm saying. So it's in the benefit to keeping the way I am instead of, causing an issue. Because I won't shut my mouth to do it. So that's what I would. So they would have to put me in prison for it. So, because I'd be giving them lectures all the time. So they would have to throw me in prison for it, and that's what they would have to do. To shut me up. And that's what I have to do. Because I don't intend to be quiet. So, that's just the thing about me. Yeah, at the end of January, I think sometime next week, or week after. No, it might be this week. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But it's been bad. Oh, I've turned off the music. Don't stop the music. Oh, I have it on pause. Sorry. My bad. Yeah. But no, the funniest thing I was going to say, Sana didn't want to hang around that time to meet me at Mountain again. Like, you think she would have went to the big dinner, they had afterwards, but, she had to go to Amsterdam on her thing. What they call it? And for the Tony Blair, it's on. So it's unfortunate that she didn't hang around too much that time. Not to mention too, because again there was a big dinner after the first day when she spoke, with me, Hot Mountain, as the guest speaker. So Hello, Alan, True Flying Camera. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Hope we're well. You're very welcome to the channel. Yeah, something like that. It's a lot of money. It's about 200,000. Yeah, something like that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Ela Buck. Like I said, the whole lot of it was stupid. End of the way, it started. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. For calling them, a boy, a girl, it shouldn't have happened in the first place. That's just ludicrous. A school is for teaching children, not for pronoun studies. But I don't know what's going to be done, because it doesn't, like, the state's not going to give. The state's not going to reinstate him in. So I don't know what's going to happen. If I was him, like, as I said to you before, I think he's made his point. That's what I'm saying. I think he's made his point. He's made his point very clearly. And in a certain extent, he has beaten the state a good bit, because the state had to let him out a good few times. But I don't think they're going to give him his job back and stuff. I think that bridge is long burned. So the only thing I can suggest is that he would go off to America and get a job in the Catholic school or something like that in America. Or even there's some probably Catholic schools that take him here in Ireland. That's the only way I could see something working. Because I don't see the state backing down, to be totally honest. Like, the state's not going to back down. Like, they're not going to do it. They've already backed down letting them out, so I don't foresee it. Like, it's stupid in the first place that it happened. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have been dealt with in the school, at most. You can speak a few languages, I think. But it's insane. But I suppose the thing about it, Brian, is it shouldn't have went this far. It shouldn't have gotten this far. It should have been dealt with in the school. But again, it's the principal thing that I find behind it too. I wouldn't call a man a woman. As simple as that. I simply wouldn't do it. I rather resign than do that. It's the same in my job now. I would rather resign. That's what I would do. I would just say good luck to you, goodbye. That's what I do. Hello, good to see you later, David. Sorry, I meant to say goodbye to you. I hope to see you again somebody. But yeah, no, that's what I say because I don't see the state backing down. Now that's the thing. They're not going to back down now. Um, I know that, but I don't see. I don't see anything change. That's the thing. Uh, you get what I'm saying, Sean. I'm sure you see the way I'm going. Like I suppose what the reason why is there, but you get what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to give in. I don't think so. The state. I don't see why. Like when if they were going to give in, I would say that. I think, but I don't think they will because as I say, it's 500. Probably it's more days now. So I don't see anything changing. Well, I would like the state, of course. I would like the state just to say, we give up. We're not bothered to pursue it any further. Here's your job back. But I don't think they will because they're not going to budge. Unless there's a new government. Because again, Fianna Fáil if there was a new government, maybe. If there was a few independents and stuff. But I don't see anything changing. You know. I know what is, just on the other point, Sean, yeah. I get what you're saying, yeah. I get what you're saying about your homes and your jobs and stuff like that. But, I get that. But there needs to be a whole society change. I know it's supposed to support what the Fulton said, though, about Colin, because it's happened in the background before. But I still don't think this is going to change anything. That's what I'm saying. I hope it does, but I don't think the state will, because the state knows this too. Remember, the Irish government knows this. They're not going to do it. They're not going to say to them, look, we'll give you a job back and stuff like that, because they'd be just pretty much giving in to, people fighting back against the establishment and stuff, and they don't want to do that, and they won't do that. So, he's made them over because they had to let him out 3 or 4 times. You probably know they'll let him out already for Christmas. The justice system doesn't know what to do with him, so they can only keep him for so long. But you get what I'm saying. But they're still not willing to give up. You think the state would just say, "Fuck it, we're not bothered," but they're not. They're determined to pursue it. If you get what I'm saying. Like if I was the judge, I would have thrown it out by now. I would have said, "I'm sick of it," But the judges, I don't know. But I get what Sean's saying. I agree with a good bit of what Sean's saying. But it's the fact of the matter. If I seen a solution that the state would give him back his job, and he'd be able to go back to the same school, but I don't see it. That's the thing. I don't see them giving in, especially Helen McEntee. You remember, is the Minister for Education. She was the Minister for Justice. Whatever, but anybody else. Helen McEntee is not going to give him his job back as Minister for Education. She's not going to do it. Well, but maybe anybody else that might do it. Number 45 is not there anymore, which is in another place. Because Helen McEntee would have to be the one to let him back into the schools. It would have to be her as the Minister for Education to say, look, we'll let Elon Buck back into school. I don't, especially her being the former Minister for Justice, she won't do it. So I don't see it. That's the next government after that, but we'll wait until 2029. But that's what I'm saying. But what I would have done if I was in his situation, just saying for example, what I would have done, I would have made my a grandstand for a good while. But at this stage, I would have went into exile. I would have said, it would have been a voice abroad, basically, to deny the government, pretty much. Because they could do nothing if you're abroad in some other country and shouting down the government from abroad. If that makes any sense, that's what I would have done. Because he probably would get loads of jobs in the United States, somebody like that who stands against transgenderism and won't call a man a woman. You would get, especially with the Trump administration at the moment, he would get probably a good job in a big school in America, like hundreds of thousands a year, maybe a year. But I don't think the establishment here is going to let that happen. Like him to win. That's what I'm saying. They're hell bound not to let him win and make an example of him. But that makes sense. You get what I'm saying, Sean? I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Because they simply won't budge. Because again, it sets a precedent after that. The people won't use pronouns and stuff. The people won't call them boys. But just saying personally, doing my job, if I was told to do that, I would have resigned. I would have made a grandstand first of all about it, but then I would have resigned. I went into exile and caused trouble abroad. but we see. But I don't think so, because the majority of people still would laugh. I suppose it's correct, because at the end of the day, there's only 2 genders. I know it's very cultural for 2 genders, but it's the truth. Because the same people would say to you, who criticize you for criticizing pronouns and stuff like that. The same people would say to you, "Oh, trust the science. Get your COVID booster and stuff like that. Trust the science." And then when you ask them, for the last billion years, there's only been two genders, man and a woman. Adam and Eve, take example. The same people say, "Oh, science has changed and stuff like that." That's what I've heard before. That apparently science has changed. You get what I'm saying? It's ludicrous and something else. But you get, I'm sure you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying in regards to that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't change your sex. If you're born a man, you're a man all your life. And if you're a woman, you're born a woman all your life. You can't change it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's no in between. You can't just decide to be a woman one day and then decide to be a man the next day. You can't do that. It's either one or the other. Either you're a man or you're a woman, whichever one. You're not two, into that. And you're certainly not a cat. Like, people call them, I've seen people with, calling people, like, their pronouns as cat, dog. Like, people have that on their CVs and stuff, like cat, dogs. They're using all sorts of pronouns. Like, we're living in lunacy if we think that's acceptable. Because it's insane. Because at the end of the day, it's the same with any job. As long as you can do the job, it doesn't matter who you are. As long as you get the job done, you get your pay. It shouldn't be about pronouns or anything like that. Simple as that. It can't be old-fashioned, but that's what it's about. The same with education. You get an education, you get a degree, you get your leaving, so whatever it may be. It's not a pronoun shop. If you want to do that, you can go off somewhere else and do it. That's the way I see it. That's just my opinion. Don't shoot the messenger, but not the messenger, but don't shoot the opinion. Culture force should have opinions in 2025. But that's democracy, and that's that's how discussions start in society, because people are too afraid to have these discussions in society, and that's the problem. People are too afraid to speak up in society about these social issues, etc., and they're important issues, and unfortunately, evil wins when people don't speak up. That's the thing. That's the way I see it. And don't shoot me. But yeah, no. But that's democracy. But anyway, long story short, but we see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't see an end of it, to be totally honest. That's my point in the whole lot of it. I don't see an end of it because the government are not going to give up. That's the thing. Even though they probably should just say, look at, it's stupid, the whole thing of it, the whole lot. We're calling a boy a girl and stuff like that. Like, there's bigger issues to worry, but the justice system, like, take for example that prison cell. I know it's contempt of court. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people would say, I know it's contempt of court. It's the specific charge, but the cause of it all was that he wouldn't call a boy a girl. Pretty much, that was the cause of it all. But you can say there's people that should be in that prison cell, killing people. Take for example that fellow today in the High Court that was up with Judge Nolan. He had images of children, inappropriate images of children. I think he probably should be there more than Neil Buff for contempt of court. In my opinion, I do think he should be there because that fellow got a fully suspended sentence. So that's the point I'm making too. That you probably shouldn't be taken up in prison cell for so long, as I say, because there's people that need to be put in there. Like, there's probably people in prison for TV licenses. It's insane, but Yeah, but see, it's all about what Sean said. If you speak out against it, they come for your workplace, they come for your job. That's what they do. So, but that's how they intimidate people nowadays in society. The same. But yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. It's ludicrous, and it does have to be dealt with as a society. This thing, especially men using women's bathrooms and stuff and participating in women's sports, it shouldn't be allowed. And same with vice versa too. It should be either you're in a men's sport or you're in a women's sport. Pick one of the two. You can't have both. But yeah, you should. Well, not trees, but definitely more things than trees now. I would say. Pretty much. Well, I don't know what you classify that as trees. What would you classify that? like what he's doing. I don't know how you would classify it. Obviously, it's illegal because he's pretty much letting paedophiles off. Like he's of course, perfecting the cause with justice. I would probably charge him with. There's other stuff people probably think of. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that kind of carry on shouldn't be happening in society. But even saying that, you're not allowed to say that nowadays. But this carry on, like this carry on, uh, because we shouldn't be letting it happen. Um, um, yeah, well, public toilets are always a mess, and but we see what as the last thing I say about Elon Book. Hopefully, uh, I don't know. I can't see anything coming to an end there soon. That's the thing. That's the main point I'm making. Because if I could see the state was giving up, because the state seems like they're going to battle it to the end of time. So I don't know, and I don't think Elon Buck's going to give it up either. So I don't see anybody giving any way on anything. So I think it's just going to always continue. What I'm trying to say. To be totally honest, in the background, that's what I see it as. Because it'd be different if I seen them, no sweatshirt lined up. No sweatshirt lined up. Oh. Yeah, like it's just my opinion, I suppose, but I don't think it's right, particularly to see in sports and stuff like that, because women and men are designed differently in terms of sports. And I think it's giving them the fact that a man participating in a woman's sport, what's happening. I don't know. Is there a YouTuber here at the moment? Not a YouTuber, but there's the YouTube channel called Alan Pod. That's what it is. Alan Pod. Does he happen to be here at the moment? I don't know if he's here at the moment because he asked. There's a lot of the comment I just got. There's a lot of questions I go into it. It'll take literally 9 years for me to write a reply. I don't know if he's here. I don't think he is here. Maybe he is. If you're here, you can. I can answer your questions here because there's a lot of questions. Probably show you on the screen now in a second. But I don't mind answering them now, but I wouldn't be able to reply in writing if that makes sense because there's 25 questions. Like it must be an autobiography the way. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to reply in it, like 25 questions individually. But I don't know. I presume maybe it is here. If you're here, let me know. I can reply to here. People probably wonder what I'm at. I'll show you now in a second. I don't think he is here. It must be, as he would have said. No, I know. I'll show you now what I'm saying. Let me just get my YouTube sheet up. Because I could reply to his questions here, because see, it's been dyslexic and stuff. It's so hard to put it in the white. Like, I'd like to answer these questions and stuff, but I don't there's that many of them, 25, and wouldn't mind if it was 2 or 3. It's just so many of them to reply. I'll show you now, you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind answering the questions. That's what you have to do as a person that puts them out in public domain. Sorry, give me a moment. to try and find it. Oi, my. Ooh. Let me see. Sorry, give me a moment. I don't think he is here. Is he? If he is here, please let me know, because then I can answer your questions here. If anybody knows him, I suppose you can ask him to, and I can answer him the next live stream. So he just had, this was just 7 minutes ago. I just seen it pop up and beside there. Like, yeah, general questions and stuff. I presume he's doing some kind of a study or something. Like, there's some good questions. I was just looking through them there. There's some good questions. I have a lot to say about it. Like, I could be for hours, and I was talking about one. That's what I'm trying to say. But it's good. There's a good lot of questions in terms of general questions. What inspired you to become political? Like, I could go on for an hour about things I've seen in the past and stuff like that. Like, I go into detail. If he was here now, I can go into detail on each one of them. Like, I would add to 5 now and then add 5 later on, and and stuff. Keep going, because I wouldn't be able to add some more now. Like, in the next live stream, we could start with it if he was here. Climate and stuff like that. Particularly, what's your perspective on Irish neutrality, the global war, and global conference? Like, as I was just saying earlier on about it, like, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of questions, especially some with dyslexia. It's so hard to reply. Like, I'd love to just reply, but it'd drive me mad to reply, because I would have to try and spell all the right things, get my point across, etc. And it's better to speak it than write it. But I don't know if anybody knows this YouTube channel. But yeah, I don't know if he's here now. I can answer some of them. Not on YouTube, no. Well, I don't know if anybody knows, but everybody knows them. I'm happy to answer these questions. But the only thing is, I can't respond to them in writing, if that makes any sense. It's not that I'm running away from the questions or anything. I happily would answer these questions here at the top. And if you want me to answer them now, and if somebody comes across them or anything like that, I can answer the top 5 now and then answer the rest later. But you probably won't see this. Answer the top 5 now. But if anybody sees them, or you can tag him in a post if you wish, just to let him know. Because I couldn't, especially with being dyslexic, it would be a lot, and especially because I could go into long details. Because a lot of them I could say a lot, because I have a lot of opinions on a lot of stuff. And, I suppose I can start with the top 5. How does that sound? Does that sound okay to people? It'll be a few minutes anyway. It'll be a few minutes after. I was just about to go before I seen this. But I won't be able to go through them all now, unfortunately. We might go through maybe a few extra. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, a lot of these things I could write a book on it, if you don't answer it. They can terms of it. Oh, excuse me, sorry, apologies. I suppose it's that, hopefully maybe he is here. Hopefully he is. At least for the top 5. So what inspired you to become a political activist? Should I go back? Should I stay on this screen or should I stay on this screen? I'm going to just open this so I can see the chat if anybody's asking anything. Just give me a second, because it'd be better to have it open, so at least then if he comes in, I can see him. I don't even know, does he know I'm live or anything like that? So he might not know I was live. I don't know what he's even doing this for either. But sure, I don't mind. I don't mind answering these questions. That's what I'm here for at the end of the day. What inspired you to become political activist? There's a lot of stuff, particularly when I was younger. I suppose the main thing is with special needs, as dyslexia, as I just said. It might be a guard. It could be possibly, but sure. Look, this is all public information. As long as he doesn't ask me for my bank account and stuff like that, I don't think so. As long as he doesn't ask me that, that's the main thing. But I don't think, because it's all public information. Like I've said it before, many, many times. I go back to my main screen. How does that sound? Just for this. So the question is, what inspired you to become a political activist? Well, as I said, when I was younger, I had special needs. I still have special needs. I have dyslexia, and probably some other stuff too. Who knows? God knows what's that. But long story short, that's obviously shaped me a good bit. And obviously, the supports I got years ago when I was younger in junior infants and secondary school, national school particularly, wasn't sufficient and stuff, and it was difficult. It was difficult being with the West, the crowd, because the West, the people were able to go and do things quicker than I was. We were able to learn Irish, learn maths, etc., etc. And there was no help. There was no assistance. I think there was only maybe an hour a week or something like that for assistance for me when I was in national school, when I was young, when I was in primary, when I was junior infants, senior infants. And it was difficult. It was difficult because I was held back a year. I don't know if I'd ever say that to you before, but I was held back a year from my original group, and I didn't go to play school before. I went to national school. So that was that huge impact on me. And particularly with, as I say, with this special needs thing, I always felt very passionately that people with special needs should be looked after, should be catered to. And I suppose that had a role in me too, from a young age too, that it isn't right that young people, people with special needs have to suffer this way, feel left out, feel abandoned in a way. And I suppose I still do feel abandoned by the state in a lot of regards, even when I was in secondary school. That we were left to our own devices and to left, not to have a proper education, not having the ability to succeed and stuff like that. So that had a huge, I suppose, role in me. And then not even that, when I always had an interest in politics from a young age and stuff like that. And particularly seeing wrong in the world. I hate seeing wrong in the world, things happening that shouldn't happen in the world. Seeing suffering and stuff, seeing things that not right, that shouldn't happen. And I suppose society too. Society should function. Civil service, public service should function without any issue. We see it in Finland, take for example. I've seen it from a young age too in Finland. That's why I have such an interest in Finland. I've seen it when I was young too. I looked up countries and stuff like that, learned about different societies, etc., etc. And Finland society, you might wonder why the world happens. Suppose this is a long tangent, I suppose, in relation to this question. But just take, for example, you see all the wrongdoing in this society. People sitting on trolleys, lying on trolleys in hospitals, in one of the world's richest countries, people who are waiting hours for an ambulance, like my father was recently. You see this in societies in first world countries. It really makes you want to get politically involved, because sitting on the sideline and saying nothing is going to solve nothing. It's only being focused, speaking up, using your voice. And especially because there's a lot of worse people, like people who are worse situations than me, people who are homeless, who don't have a voice, who are afraid to speak out. And it's important to use your voice, to use your ability to speak and to speak freely, etc., etc. And that's one of the things I've always been very passionate about. That I should always try and be the voice of wisdom and try and be the voice of reason, and try and speak the truth the way I see it. And always speak up for the people who are forgotten about in society. That's the thing. By watching Fitz and Brown, so he said, yeah, Fitz and Brown. I remember watching Fitz and Brown, but it was more. I do take the dyslexia stuff because it was always in my head, like when I was younger, that this wasn't right because everybody else was ahead of me in school. I was able to do more and stuff, and I always felt very abandoned. And still to this day, I do feel abandoned. I've often said about it by the state in terms of that. But but no, but even just take, for example, in Finland, the reason why it's happened, just going back to the World Happiness Report and stuff, I know it was a long essay, but the World Happiness Report for years have said about Finland because the system worked, things worked, government functioned, society functioned, people didn't have to deal with bullshit and stuff in terms of red tape, etc., etc. Now society has so much red tape. And I've always looked at that because that's what society should be about. Things should function productively. Things should work out. But in this country, it doesn't. And I suppose from a young age, I've seen that in my education, that it didn't work out. I should have got help. I should have got more assistance and stuff like that. And national school, and sadly today, there's probably loads of children in the same situation that I'm in 21st century Ireland. It's a sad state of affairs. But that was one of the main things. And not only that, too, when I grew up a bit more, when I got to about 10 and stuff like that, I know I was always involved, but I was always looking at politics and stuff like that. Seeing things around the area, things that were wrong, people that were suffering. It's always important to speak up and to use your voice. And that's the reason why, I suppose in my own head, and I suppose the thing I agree with Sanna Mao and the woman behind me on, is to try and make some small difference in the world. It might not be 100% difference. It might not be unlimited difference, but it's a 1% difference or 0.5. And as Sanna Mount said, which I agree with a lot, and this is the thing why I like Sanna Mount so much, I do agree with on this. If you can make less than the 0.1% difference in the world, you should do it. And that's kind of the thing that I've always lived by. If I can make one small difference, even in local politics here, or I have made loads of difference in local politics here and in small rural affairs here in Cavan, different things. If you can make 0.1% difference in the world, then do it. You're making the world a small bit better. And I think that's worth the time and effort. Just making the world 1% better is better than anything else. So even making your local area 1% better is worth anything. It's worth, no money can be put towards it. No money can value that if you make a 1% difference on people's lives. And I do think I've made a good bit of a difference. But that's the thing, that try and make the world a better place. I know it sounds grand and stuff like that, but it's important to try and make the world a better place. And it's important to try and make society better for the next generation. And I suppose that's the main reason. So the main reason is that when I was younger, I felt abandoned, I suppose, by the state. And then obviously looking around me when I grew up, etc., seeing the hardship people were suffering, that always encouraged me to speak up, to use my voice. And that's why I got involved. And I seen loads of stuff that needed to be done and decided to do it. That's pretty much what I seen. Because again, I seen wrong in the world, and it's always important to try and make the world a small bit better. And that's what I think that we should always do, is strive for it. Even as only citizens, we should always do it, because anybody that can speak, because again, it's a gift to have the ability to speak. Not many people in this world few people in this world can't speak. They have no voice. It's important to use your voice that God intended to use. What is the key question two? What is the key issue you're currently focusing on? There's many issues. It's a long-winded question, even long, because that was probably about 20 minutes of a question I answered. I probably went on a bit, but there's a lot I have to say about many different things, because I look at it from different angles, the questions too. I look at it from 4 different angles. That practice gives, I agree with you on that one, But they do home economics now for the leaving sort, so that's good. What is the key issues you're currently focusing on? I suppose I always talked about it, and I always said about it. If you go back to my channel, it's always to do with cleanliness and cleanliness, I suppose, around cavan and stuff. That's the main. I've always been very passionate about, even just the dog poo on the streets, etc. I've always been very passionate. The members of the public who pay their taxes, pay their road tax, should have good quality roads, should have good quality facilities, should have a good quality society environment around them. So I've always been very passionate about it. I've always been very vocal. I've been very, very vocal. I had a huge role to play in putting the dog bins around cavan too, because I always was very vocal about it, and eventually they did it. So thankfully they did it. So I had a huge role to play in that. So that would be always one of the main focuses for me. And then obviously, community issues, community development, getting things for communities, even as park benches, small things like that, public facilities, stuff like that, always on local issues. Because again, the local issue is the local issue in every part of the country. It's not just the small local area. It affects every part of the country, because it's always local. Everything's always local. It's not everything's not national. It's always local. It's always local issues, and then it comes to national issues. So everything is locality, pretty much. What I'm trying to say. Everything starts local and ends nationally, pretty much. So that's I see. But obviously, house and many other things. Healthcare, mental health particularly too. Mental health would be another big one. I suffered a lot when I was younger with my mental health. I went to Cherry Orchard Hospital in Ballyfermot for a good while, and the waiting list was as long as the eye could see. So I've always been very passionate, because I've seen so many young people who were in desperate states up in that time in Cherry Orchard Hospital. Even now in cavan, I've seen so many. The last few years has been desperate. Seeing the difficulties young people faced. Could be some kind of, I don't know, but so I answered the first few questions, and I show no harm. That asked me too much. But if he comes into the channel or something like that, we can ask him a bit more. Sometime. But so I asked the top 5, because again, it's not like ask me about bank account details. So that's probably the main things to do with that. I could go into that, but yes, more the mental. So it's more community development. I suppose that's what we call the first thing, and then mental health, etc. And then obviously the house and etc. There's loads of other stuff. But so I asked the first 5 questions in them. But when you're a public figure like me, you kind of have to answer some. You can't just pretend the questions don't exist and stuff like that. You have to answer questions. I don't mind answering the questions. How do you see the political landscape in Ireland evolve in the next 10 years? Well, especially with the last election, this is, I suppose this could go anyway in the next 10 years. It all depends. Because again, you have to remember a lot of young people are moving away, and the majority of people, elderly people, they vote usually, elderly people, and young people don't really vote. So I think it's just going to be pretty much the same, pretty much Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil. They're losing votes. They've lost a lot of votes compared to what they used to have. But I do think it's just be still Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. Maybe with a few independents, maybe the Green Party depends. But that's how I see the next landscape in Ireland. I don't see anything really changing. Because in this election, if it did change, something changed some way. I would have said to something would have changed, but I don't know. In the next 5 years, I don't see anything happen in the next 5 years. I know whatever, but the next 5 years after the next 5 years, I know that's the thing. I did win the lotto. Ho ho! We're off to the Bahamas. Um, that's what I see. So I don't really see any change. The Beatles, unfortunately, it's a sad thing to say, but it seems to be the truth. But yeah. So yeah, I haven't got much to say on that one because I don't really see any change. What challenges do you face in Ireland today? I presume it means in 9 years. Jeez, we're off to Bahamas. You'll buy us all our drinks in the Bahamas. What challenges do you face in Ireland today? Like Jesus, the list is endless. The main thing would be the housing crisis. That's the main thing. Like housing is a huge thing. It's the biggest issue in the country. It holds everything back. That's the main thing because people can't get jobs. People can't move out of their parents' houses. It's the big thing, and it's the big thing loads of people spend the monthly rent on. Like basically the money everybody's spending huge money on rent, and it's the biggest thing in the country. And then obviously we'll go with the mental health crisis, the increase in crime. The list goes on. The list goes on. The mental health, like it's insane. Like the list just goes on and on. Then the hospital trolley, people waiting to get appointments. Like the issues go on and on. It's just insane. Oh, just out the road. Must be near enough here. How do you engage with communities to raise awareness about your causes? Well, mainly on YouTube, but I'm known in the public for doing things and stuff like that. Known in the public. I did a lot of voluntary work, etc., etc. Known for doing that. Um, so that's mainly social media. It's not so much paper nowadays. People read social media more than than anything else. And that's the thing. People just social media is everything nowadays. It's not years ago what you on the ground work. It's more what you see in social media. That's the main thing. Um, but that's what I see it as. That's what I see it as. That's how I do it. But I do engage communities with social media and stuff, raising awareness because again, the power of technology is more than anything else than the old-fashioned ways of doing things. That's the way I see it. But I always try and be passionate and make videos and stuff like that, and things that I'm passionate about. Um, but yeah, that's how I see it. But mainly, it's voluntary work and it's social media and stuff. It's not really anything else apart from that, as far as I can say. Anyway, there's nothing really else. But yeah, that's usually how I engage with communities. Yeah, hopefully it wasn't too bad, Brian. That's just. But yeah, no, I'm not going to the Western because there's 25 questions. Like there's a lot of questions. Um, so I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if he's in the chat. If you're in the chat, please let me know. Because I can't go into them all tonight because we would be here for an hour or two. Because a lot of them I could say a lot more. Like the last few there, I didn't really have much to say in terms of that. But yeah, sure look at. But I don't know what the thing is to do it. But I don't think he's here. I don't think the channel's here. But look at if he's come across the channel, he can say answer the first few questions. Um, um, yeah, I'll probably hear about it later on. I don't know much about that. But there was the first few questions. It was supposed to end a few minutes ago, but I answered the first 5 questions. A lot more. Like you can see, there's 25 of them. And especially because I could go into so much detail on some of them. Like I could write the book. But yeah, if he comes in, like if he is here at the moment, I don't mind answering them next Wednesday. Well, not Wednesday. Well, won't happen next Wednesday. This Saturday coming, sorry. I don't know. I don't think he even knows I'm live, so I don't know. But look, I assume he come in at some stage. See, the only reason why he probably thinks I'm being ignorant and stuff like that, but it's the fact of the matter that with dyslexia, it's so hard, especially with even 3 questions to write, like write up with spots and stuff. But especially with 25, like I would lose the mind pretty much. TOI basic forms, yes, but forms are difficult. I think forms are not easy. I think you need a PhD to fill out forms. Like you should see the forms. Like I had to fill out a health safety form a few weeks ago for my walk, and it's fucking meaningless. Like there's no need for half of the stuff. Pretty much, it's just fill up. It's just to annoy you. I mean, that's the problem. Like, health and safety forms are no joke. Like them forms, like the forms I get every year, the health and safety. Like you're constantly filling them up. It's insane. Like you nearly need a degree to fill them up. Like it is crazy. It's crazy the forms. Like you should see the size of them. And they tell you the same thing, and then it's pointless. Find it. I show you now. Let me see. Get it for you. Like he does Irish political videos. I've already seen and looked at it. Let me get it there for you. So. Let me see. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. There's 100 million things. Excuse me. Sorry, apologies. So yeah, this is just to show you the questions, just to say that I'm not running away from the questions or anything. Like I've answered up into 5. Yeah, like I like it. It's a lot, especially imagine being dyslexic and having to try and write all these answers, especially because again, it's long answers I could give. Like you heard the last few I gave, the first 2. I went on for a good while. Not so much the last 3. I had only a bit to say about it. I didn't have much to say. But yeah. So no, but just to show you, it's called Irish Pod. I think Irish Pod. I never heard of the channel before, but it seems to be doing political. I just looked through some of them now to see what they're on about. It seemed to be a small enough channel. I don't know. I don't probably have podcasts. Like they probably do podcasts on other platforms and stuff. And this is probably just a podcast to put up on YouTube. So I don't know. But if they're here now, I don't mind. Answering the questions as well. So that makes sense. It's just the fact that I have to write them out. That's the problem I'm facing. Especially being dyslexic, it's so hard to write. Especially 25. I wouldn't mind if there was only 5 who could answer them, directly, but literally having to write out, and especially because it could go on and on and on and on, and to be there for a year. But I would just like they're probably putting it up on the podcast, as I said. But that's it there. That's their channel there. Like I never heard them before. Oh, and this they're back when you're done. Yeah, like online forums, yeah, public service calculator, bank. Yeah, banks are atrocious too. Yeah, it's insane. Like it's all fell out. Like so you need a PhD to understand some of the stuff. But particularly for my work, health safety forms are just ludicrous. The amount of things you design, ludicrous. Also, yeah, you asked the other day, Brian. Yeah, you asked about the road. It's changed from the 7th of February. That's when the new signage from the roads are coming off. The changes in the miles per hour on the roads. That's when it is. I found that I was talking to a fellow the other day about that. That's when it's happened, the 7th of February. Or something around that. 7th of the night. I don't know, sometime between then. But that's when the government have decided to do it. So it's sometime in February, yeah. Beginning of February. So 7th of the night or something like that. Not too, but he said it's in the first week in the February. Or the first 2 weeks or whatever. So around that sometime. Yeah, it's all online forms. It's not like nowadays you can't do physical writing. It has to be all online forms. It's ludicrous. Like, that's why I always do physical forms, because I don't fucking want to fill up forms online. Cough came up, yeah. There's what the link maybe, I don't know. You probably feel like, why are you telling everybody about me? It's not that I know, I don't mind answering the questions again, this is the thing. But I would just wonder if he was here, so I could say point for point what I'm talking about. No. Why is this not letting me click? UAA. Yeah, these what the link to the channel. I don't know. I don't know if that's any good to you, but maybe you can watch some of his videos and stuff. But there seem to be Americans, to be totally honest. Got like listening to some of them there. I could be wrong. I might not know anything. Because again, I look into the channel later on, but I don't think there's anything nefarious about it. That's a bit insulting now, but not to me, but that we might have to report you to the authorities. Drew Harris is here taking names. Drew, a good man, Drew. Then I vote for him. Yes, please, thank you, please. Okay. Now, just to say to them, I'm only making them too because people might want to watch them. But I don't mind answering the questions if they were here. You know what I'm saying? Because being dyslexic, it's atrocious to try and reply in writing and terms of that. And I think it's more better too because you get you get everything that I want to say compared to if I was writing it down, it'd be only a few things. That makes sense. It's more better to say it than write it down. For me, especially if anybody else might be all right. Like, it was always interesting in Finland. Yeah, as I said to you there, I don't know if you hear at the time. He was asking me how I got into activism, this account. And it was mainly to do with seeing problems in society and stuff like when I was younger. And I was interested in Finland because for years, Finland's always been one of the happiest countries in the world. And it's always been the main thing is compared to other countries. It's always because people, and I even heard it when I was over in Finland before the true Finns came along, is because the government functions, things function, society worked, things worked. People were happy with society. People were happy with the government, trusted the government and stuff. So that's always interested me when I was very young when I heard about that. So it wasn't just Santa. Santa was kind of the icing on the cake, if that makes any sense. You know, that might have been bad, way to phrase it. But anyway. Oh, I can't link it on my computer. Yeah, that's right. Blast. And to try and get my phone. Give me a second. Sorry, I only noticed that now. Like, I can't link it on my computer on the live stream. Like, not link it, but put the link into the chat. I have to try and get it on this now. Excuse me, apologies. No, I didn't mean it like that. Now I'm going to be. Now he's never going to let me off with that one. I don't know what to say. I was going to respond to the cow too, but I don't know how to put it. Like, not being able to respond and stuff like that to it. I've not been able to, get what I'm saying, like in writing. I'd be all right doing it on live stream and stuff as well. Like, I think I have the thing now. Now, just to say, I don't think they're out for anything or anything like that. I think they're just interested.
Yeah, I don't think they're.
I hear myself. It's dreadful, like chalk. I think that works. I don't know if that works. Yeah, it does. Okay. That should work. I don't know. Just for anybody who wants to watch. I think there must be podcasters, like not on YouTube. Like I say, they do podcasts on some other platform and then post it to YouTube, I presume. See, I'm not with the kids on that kind of thing. But I have no problem answering their questions. As I say, if anybody takes I'm running away from them, I'm not running away from them. I happily, if they were here now, I would answer their questions. Like, I answered the first 5 of them. I have no problem answering the next 5 tomorrow night or a few more tomorrow night. But just because there's 25 of them, you tell me. That's the thing. Because the debt, you've seen in the community post, that the debt has gone up. The debt has gone up more than ever has before. So it doesn't make any sense. Why would you cut everything and then nothing happens? It doesn't make any sense. So you tell me, because I don't think they know themselves. So yeah, so I don't know. Who knows? Do we know the reason? Nobody knows. No, nobody knows. Like, even the people in the Department of Finance in Finland said that there's no point cutting into because it make no difference, pretty much. Like, I don't know how it's going up. Like, it's gone up more than it ever has before, what I'm trying to say. But the problem is, and I think the thing behind this, Brian, like, they took out loans. Seeker project. I mean, hardly doubt. No, good girl. It could be a reason Seeker, because especially this woman just doesn't like anything, pretty much. No, but I think it's because, again, they took out big loans, right, from the IMF under Wika. Wika took out some big loans, and I think they had loads of interest. So that's what I think was the problem, and they won't admit it. That they kind of fucked up everything because they took out loads of. But as I say, they really fucked it up. Like, it's totally fucked up what they've done. Yeah. Which mainstream? Are you talking about the channel that you're talking about? I don't think they don't look to be mainstream because they only have 16 subscribers. They don't look like they're not radio television sharing. If that makes any sense. But sure, look at that. That's the first 5 questions in it. But it just I would respond to all of them in wine, but it's too much. No, to screw them. I don't think so, no. Because the fact of the matter is the GDP. This is the thing, and everybody keeps pointing it out, that when Santa Mountain was there was more employment. People had jobs, all that. Employment, GDP was going up. There was a big amount, like, take, for example, just the one thing I say about this tells you all you need to know. With all the cuts that the True Finns have put in place, there was big American companies going to invest the hundreds of millions of euro into offices. Like, there was an American company, like a big computer kind of company in America. We're going to invest 55 million euro into Finland, right? Into Helsinki, particularly. Into the office in Helsinki, right? Listen to this. But after they've done all the cuts, because they have staff from America, right? They have staff over in Finland from America because it's a company based in Finland, but they're an American company in Finland, if that makes any sense. But this is the thing. As soon as they made the cuts to housing allowances and healthcare, accepted crime and safety, all that, pretty much the company was like, we don't really want to be here, and especially because the subsidies and stuff ended. So pretty much that 55 million euro that was going to be invested into Finland, that didn't happen. They took back that investment. And for many companies in Finland, like international companies, they were going to invest hundreds of millions of euro into it. Not online. But that's what I'm saying. So all the investment dried up pretty much. With all the cuts, all the investment dried up. Anyway, no, we didn't talk about that. It's more American thing as well to do with. But it is a new Chinese app. I know about that. I know about it. Not really much to say about it. Excuse me. But if that makes any sense. So I don't think it was Santa on the way out knocked the door down, because I think they knocked themselves down. Yeah, it took a hit. Yeah, I know that. I didn't know all about it, but I say it bounced back. The stock market will be fine. We see. It's a long thing. It's a long-winded thing about it, supposed to. Well, we see. But no, I don't think Santa on the way out fucked everything up. I don't think she did. I don't think so. I think it was just them being stupid and the True Finns thinking that, because the main solution for the True Finns was we're going to cut everything and then there'd be no debt. If we cut everything to the bone, there'd be no debt. That didn't happen, unfortunately. That was the main thing. Like, it wasn't for anything else. And probably because Winka doesn't believe that anybody should have any, sympathy and stuff like that. I say things to wind you up. Yeah, I know that. That's why I like winding myself up too. But no, I've a lot to say about the True Finns because they really fucked it up. Like, they really have fucked it up. Like, you can see the way they fucked it up. Everything shows that the way they have fucked it up. Because they were crying before when Santa Mountain was in government, saying that the debt was so high. But it went up by 50 folds. In the only government less than 600 days, and the debt has gone up more than ever before in Finland. So they really have punched above their weight pretty much. Because they basically said to everybody, we can fix everything. And, letting know, everything went fucking tits up then. Not to mention just ludicrous, like half the stuff they're coming out with. I don't know if you've seen what they're talking about now. They're talking about paying people not to drink. We're not worried about people being homeless or people not having jobs. We're going to pay people not to drink alcohol and stuff and smoke. What? How are you going to prove, first of all, that they're drinking and all that? It's insane. I don't believe that one. No, she's not woke. I wouldn't call her woke. Like, the one person that, like, Jacinta Ardern would be a perfect example of that one. Like, you were seen just there earlier on with that comment, saying that she didn't say NATO. Like, just going back to the comment that she made at the event. It could be different. Like, what I would classify as woke if she said NATO should defend Ireland. But she was like, I think it's worrying for small nations like Finland and Ireland. So I think we need to do everything we can to protect ourselves. Otherwise, we'd be crushed. It'd be different if she said NATO should protect Ireland, NATO should do this, and NATO should that. If Jacinta Ardern and stuff like that was there, she'd be saying NATO should do it, NATO should do it. But she didn't say that. She said Ireland should protect itself. And she's right, I suppose. Like, we should be able to defend ourselves. That's more or less what she's saying. The same as Finland too. A small country should be able to defend themselves. And the thing that was on was big countries invading small countries. That makes any sense. And I suppose that's true. Like, it's bigger neighbor beating up you, I suppose. But yeah, I would classify a lot of them as well, but the Santa Mountain's not one of them. To be sure answer. Maybe in some regards you can classify it as, but I suppose if you look at the background, you kind of can see why. When you look into the background of her young life, when she grew up and stuff, you can kind of see where she's coming from. Compared to other leaders, you can't really can see where she's come from. If that makes any sense. sounds make it woke. No, but I think she's right in what she said in that regard. She was more or less saying about Donald Trump threatening to take over Greenland and stuff like that. She's more or less saying about them being more aggressive and stuff like that. And I suppose too, it is kind of aggressive too, saying you want to take Greenland. Whatever about the Panama Canal, America has some claim to that, but they shouldn't be going around saying they want to take Greenland, they want to take Canada and stuff like that. I don't agree with that now. So I agree with that. We shouldn't be, and the same as if it was a conservative government here in Ireland, we shouldn't be saying we want to take this and we want to take that. We shouldn't want to be taking anybody's land. That's more or less what she was saying, and with that regard. That the wackling the sables, if that makes any sense. That makes sense because there's context behind it too that needs to be given to. It was talking about Ukraine, etc., etc. Other places too. Particularly Donald Trump, who was mentioned about Greenland. She wasn't whatever about Canada and the Panama Canal. She didn't pass much remarks on that. It was more about Greenland that she was very annoyed about. You can tell it by looking at it. She was very annoyed about it because again, you have to remember the Nordic countries are very much together on everything. So they would be very upset, because Greenland would consider themselves Scandinavian too, even though technically they're not. But that was the context behind it, which I agree, because again, it's the same with Ireland. We have no right to go over to Iceland or go over to Greenland and say we want your land. We have no right to that. It's not our land. It's not up. We have no claim to anything. The only claim we have is to our island, and that's it. That's more or less I'm saying about it. Where is this? But no, just to show you, just speaking of Scandinavians, of there was an interesting dinner they had. They had the big meetings. This is the Alexander Stubbs, the president of Finland. This is Metro Fredriksborg, the prime minister of Denmark and Sweden and Norway. They had a big meal pretty much in Metro Fredriksborg's house. It's a quite difference the Scandinavian countries because it's very basic. This is in her house. She cooked it herself. The prime minister of Denmark cooked her own dinner, too, for the prime minister, the president of Finland and the president of the prime minister of Norway and the prime minister of Sweden. It's quite a difference compared to Donald Trump and stuff like that. I suppose there's a different way. It is a different way of life in the Scandinavian countries, in the Nordic countries, Scandinavian countries would say too, because the prime minister of Denmark cooked this too with them. So it's an interesting thing. It's interesting too. Okay, and how we do? I think that's how are you doing? Yeah, well, Iceland isn't that big of a country. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There's quite a difference when you look at that. But no, Sandra was very pissed. You could tell by looking at the Greenland and stuff. She was not happy about it. That's the wackles and the sables, I suppose, about it. I think that was the thing that she was most annoyed about. If that makes any sense. But that's the context she was talking about. Yeah, I know he probably does, but I'm saying it's a different way, I suppose, looking at it. Yeah, you're very well liked here, Kieran. Everybody's rolling out the red carpet for you. Which is, but you're very welcome. I hope you're well. Let me see. What were the Queen said? She put on some kind of stuff. The Prime Minister Denmark. I don't know what it was. It was kind of so she made it herself. This was in the Prime Minister, the whole private apartment. Not in the Prime Minister's wedding, in the private apartment. She went and bought them for dinner. She made the dinner for them. So there's quite a difference. No chef or nothing like that. So it's an interesting thing. Because I don't know what you see it here, like Leo Varadkar bringing, or Miha Martin bringing you to your house for dinner, and cooking it in 5 minutes to cooking yourself, It's an interesting thing. Like, it is really interesting. It shows you that there's a different, not another stone, Sean. You can take the stone. We don't want it. You can keep it. Now at this stage, we might become Storm Island. But look at that, I think we're going to live there for the night. We went on for a long time. We're supposed to be gone at 9 o'clock. Only before I got that comment. So there you go. But I don't know if they come into the channel. If anybody sees them on any other channel, if you don't mind just saying to them, it's not that I'm being not wanting to answer the questions like that. I don't mind answering the questions. It's just the fact of the matter. I'm sure people get it. With dyslexia and stuff like that, it's so difficult to write out, answer 25 questions in detail and stuff like that. It's a nightmare. I don't know if you really know how bad that is, because it would take me literally 6 or 7 hours, and the spelling would be atrocious, the grammar would be atrocious, and everybody would be very annoyed and upset. So if they are on the channel at some stage, I answered the first 5 questions I had there the night, but I don't mind answering the rest later on. Storm Santa, I don't think we ever will, unfortunately. Screen recording and speech recognition, yeah. Well, see, I use Google thing, the Google Voice thing because the cat spell stuff and stuff. But sure, my accent is atrocious. Like if I say something that comes up with entirely different stuff, like it's insane when you really look at it. Like you could ask about how to spell weather and come up with something else, water and stuff. Like it's insane. Yeah, we're going to push for sometime. Better over time. Yeah, I have to get. I'm not into that technology. We have to see. No, it's just that my accent's very thick and stuff like that. I barely speak, yeah. But yeah, that's that. But listen, lads and lassies, I think we'll leave it there for tonight. We'll see if that person comes in, but nobody knew of his channel before, so he seems to be an American anyway, so I don't know. We'll see. If he comes back in here, if he ever comes in here, we can answer his questions. What? Sorry, give me a second. What? Sorry, no, I just have to see something there. What's that? Oh, sorry, on the thing. Yeah. What is that? Oh, no, it seems to be fine now. Who you dealing with? Yeah, I don't see. I see. As a public figure, you have to kind of just answer people. You can't just say who you want to talk to and who you don't want to talk to. Like you have to talk to everybody. Simple as that. You can't just pick and choose who you talk to. I suppose. But I don't mind. I don't mind answering the question. But if they were here, I wouldn't mind answering. If that makes sense, just in writing. That's the point I'm making. I'm sure you get. With dyslexia, it's atrocious the writing spelling, especially for 25 questions. I'd be like here for the next 6 days writing it. Definitely stag at the door. But listen, lads and lassies, we'll live with it. We'll see. They probably will come back to me at some stage. But I wish they would have told me they're putting it for a podcast or what they're doing for. But I should look at it. No point in. But anyway, that's it. Thank you, everyone. I talk to you later. We'll be back Saturday. Probably be videos tomorrow. Yeah, probably will be some videos tomorrow. So we leave it there. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk Saturday on the live stream. And we'll see you then. Bye.